2, 1.
Hello.
Nope.
Hello.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back.
Did we ever actually aim the cameras?
No.
They're pretty much good.
Are they blue?
A little bit, but we have yet to be able to fix that on more than one camera.
I'm blue. The
The light's a little bit more blue than usual, but we have yet to be able to fix that on more than one camera at a time.
Yeah.
So
Maybe if we didn't have bluish lights in a purple room.
Maybe
Yeah.
if we had a computer that could recognize multiple cameras at once independently.
Maybe if we had not basic webcams.
Maybe if we weren't Smurfs.
Maybe if we had a lot more money.
Hey guys, if you want to see us not blue,
Donate money to our Patreon.
We can be any color you like.
I mean, my hair still comes out pretty red, so there's that.
That's all that matters.
You're the
Hi,
special
everybody.
Smurf.
We're saying
I
hi.
am the dungeon master for this Horde campaign, so I feel like
Smurf.
Horrid? Or
the
horrid?
The Dungeon Master Smurf?
Please, we're Vidalkin. Though none of us are fishy enough. And the only person,
She
the
is.
only one of us here who should have hair is Holly in that case. Because only Vidalkin women have hair.
William, we have to shave your head.
Nope.
Be fair,
I don't know if it's a cultural thing or a genetic thing, but only Vidalkin women
it's
have
probably genetic.
Then again, Vidalkin genetics change every plane they're on.
Most creatures do. Humans are really the only exception.
Goblins are pretty consistent, except for
No.
except for 2 places.
No, Mercadian masked goblins are completely different from Ravnican goblins, are completely different from...
So
having
we're
this
playing
conversation.
Warcraft.
Yeah, by the way,
Play Warcraft.
welcome back to Storm, Earth, and Fire, this Warcraft RPG campaign. I am William, and I am the Dungeon Master, Game Master, Storyteller, whatever you want to call it, for this 5th edition Warcraft RPG campaign using the system of my own devising. And joining me today we have John.
I'm John. I'm playing Garrick Cloudspeaker, the orc wood champion, spirit champion. We decided it was
Spirit
called
Champion, yeah.
Spirit champion. And next time I DM, I'm just gonna say hello. I'm John, and I'm your god for today.
Oh, that sounds great. Holly?
I'm Holly. I'm playing Shiana Flamecarver. She is an assassin rogue orc with 1 arm and loves the world.
One of those
things is a lie.
You choose.
She doesn't love the world.
Shut up. Let them do.
7 arms.
Oh, so you're the new Borderlands character.
Shiana starts just growing arms.
She's a Borderlands siren.
I
a
can
very
make you
crippled
some,
octopus.
but you don't want me to.
And Austin, whose character's name is Jangatal Wildwalker, because I know you won't say it.
I like how we've come to that point. Hi, Troll is Troll, Snack Friend is Snack, and we do the survival stuff.
Is he in
He's visible, yes.
Okay.
He's hanging right next to the one mic that's on camera.
Oh well.
And we do not have Rudy today. Prior engagements have reared their heads without expectation, so he won't be able to join us today.
We do, however, have the Dark Wanderer from Diablo 2.
Yes.
As opposed to the Light Wanderer, who was just released in Magic the Gathering as an uncommon planeswalker.
We have a Grim Reaper over here.
Who is also the most powerful planeswalker in existence because she can kill anything.
That is entirely untrue. Also, Vraska can kill anything.
But yes,
I'm Zach, and I'm playing
yeah.
Reef Ironmender, the half-orc priest of the Holy Light Tinker.
yes, thank you, Prince of Condorus.
I'll gladly accept all these new titles I'm getting.
Titles.
The Dark Wanderer in Diablo was the son of the King of Condorus.
And also the embodiment of Satan.
He rammed Satan's soul into his forehead.
Diablo, technically. Satan doesn't exist in Diablo.
Close enough.
You realize Diablo is just
It's the same
a
thing.
different word for Satan,
for
or
Mephisto.
Beelzebub, or
Yes,
Lucifer,
Mephisto,
or Old Nick,
But
or Middle-Aged Nick.
They're all distinct, different demons.
Meanwhile, my name is Stan. I'm going to play Josh, and it's going to be a techno mystic tinker
Diablo is
because he
more
made it
terror.
all up.
Yep, because I put a lot of words into things.
Yes.
To be
it's
fair,
fun.
Warcraft did it first.
Yeah.
It's when we put
Yes,
words into
but we're
things.
trying to.
That's
So-
like German. I need a word for this. We'll just take these 4 words and staple them together. Yes, but it's like 26 letters long.
It's fine.
Are you not man enough to say that word?
Schadenfreude.
So, When last we left off, the group had begun making their way through the wetlands after a tense encounter with the dwarven guards at the Thandal Span. After an amount of travel, they decided to set down for the evening, making camp off the side of the road. And while they made camp, one of them caught notice of a caravan passing by on the road that seemed to just vaguely notice them and didn't seem to want to interact very much. That is until several hours later in one of the earlier shifts, when Shiana, catching motions of Knoll activity heading away from the camp, decided to follow and investigate and found that same caravan under attack by a group of Knolls. Accidentally revealing herself to the situation, was thrown into the battlefield and summarily knocked out by the Knoll brute,
We need the focus of the information right now.
took both Shiana and the Worgen captive, which led to the party making a rescue attempt to save both her and the Worgen captives and several other captives that had been taken for potential slave auctioning or food to be eaten.
I'm just curious, which one would have Shiana been?
Probably food.
Okay, that's what I figured.
You're not the best slave with only one arm.
Oh no.
Yeah.
That's
No,
what I
Knolls are
figured.
very
I was-
superficial in that way.
One arm and a bad attitude.
But with the party entering and defeating the group of Knolls and saving all of those inside, the group of individuals, the Worgen who had been taken from Gilneas, and some humans and dwarves and a gnome that had also been at the Knolls camp when they arrived, said thanks. Gave thanks to the party, learned the name of the guild, the Soaring Fang, and began to part separate ways when we pick up, as the group of you begin to make your way. I'm assuming, unless any of you want to ask anything else of this group of Alliance Wanderers before you go.
Well, I'm certainly not asking anything.
I mean,
No-
yes.
Yeah,
No questions.
we figured that out. I think we just need to move on.
All right.
So Shiana's still leaning on Brick, and she's got 9 health right now.
Yes.
I guess I'm assuming I
You
haven't
healed me up
cast.
to 9.
I'm assuming I haven't cast any spells,
Yeah.
right?
I was like
Yeah, no, you're
super not good.
Lay on hands, you have 35 more hit points.
Thank you so much. Is there a pencil that I can use that maybe?
As long as you don't, if you want an eraser, and we have a child.
Yes. Keep playing.
We have 2 children.
Oh, wait,
One of them is responsible for the lack of erasers.
I need to
Oh wait,
go.
here's an eraser.
Need what?
Okay.
I need to really quickly grab my journal real quick. So if you group would like to talk amongst yourselves while you begin your journey.
So, what's your max?
We do
yeah,
that pretty
plus
much every
35. What's your
anytime
max hit
anyway.
points?
57.
35 puts you
plus
at.
9 is
44.
44.
I'll throw in a cure wounds as well.
No,
Wait, I might
does this
have
have
cure
blood?
wounds. Yeah, I have cure wounds.
Yeah. There's lead in there.
Yes, but there's not enough blood for it to work. There's a tiny piece.
Well, the lead probably all fell out of the back of it when someone stole the eraser in it.
Yes, I am the holder of the pen with an eraser in it. Pencil.
And
One
then
that's,
35 plus 7 plus 7.
35 plus
49.
7 plus 14.
You're at 49.
59 because she was a
59.
40.
Wait, that brings me up to.
She's a good, yeah, she's a
Yeah. Yeah, okay. I'm up.
All of her hit points are the
Okay.
I have like non-mechanical pencils. You can tell at a glance whether or not they're going to work.
Okay.
Maybe. Sometimes you think they're going to work at a glance, and then you press down and they're and then they never work.
I have had a pencil shatter on me before.
I bought pencil from the dollar store too.
The entire pencil fell in half.
Like,
You
I
sharpen the
wish
2
that
halves.
was
Now you have 2
I
pencils.
wish that was hyperbole.
No,
because the graphite falls out as a
Falls out
third
of the-
piece.
because the coral either only sticks with one side or just falls out.
Oh, huh.
Splits down the middle.
Shiana will say thank you to Garrett.
All right. So, as you make your way eastward,
How do you say you're welcome as an orc?
that's not one of the things in Orcish.
Yeah, they don't typically say that. I'm like, No problem doesn't. No problem doesn't really work.
You gotta go to low common to get a word for it.
Is there an orcish word for "you're welcome"?
No.
It's probably just like a firm grunt.
Generally, it's like, nah.
Indeed.
Whatever.
I legitimately don't think there's a "you're welcome." I know.
Well, that's going to be hard if they ever try to port Moana into Warcraft.
Oh.
Eric is Maui.
What can I say except...
That was way too high. What can I say except?
Oh man.
To be fair, in Warcraft, Dwayne's body proportions are probably pretty standard.
They are.
As I say, Maui's a pretty, like, that's just an ogre.
Yeah. Now it's an ogre saying it. That's even worse.
Oh man.
One or two heads.
Just one. It's an ogre mage.
Well, no, because he also has the tattoo. So
Oh,
it's like, what can I say except, bam, stop singing!
Okay, so you begin the journey eastward.
Again?
Picking up with the dawn. The journey continues mostly without incident.
Actually, no, Magobi is Andalari Troll.
Quick,
Then
real
Lord
quick,
Dire Troll.
do we take a short rest before we journey out?
Do you want to? Take an hour's rest to bandage wounds and
We did just
Spend hit dice?
fight and
Yeah, maybe.
someone had
I'm
knocked
completely
out the
uninjured
drag.
for some reason.
Yeah, for some reason. I cast some
He
invisibility
stayed
on
on
him.
the
and
outskirts of the
We
battle.
didn't get a
We
chance
did-
to
we
eat
left.
breakfast, so the troll
Oh,
going to
yeah,
cook food.
breakfast.
Oh yeah, 'cause
Provided
there's all
for
sorts of
us.
supplies in this camp.
And then healing afterwards.
Yes.
Who needs healing?
I never got touched.
That is a thoroughly mediocre 15 on the nose.
you make a passing breakfast.
Assuming that our Dark Wanderer is out of healing spells, who needs healing?
Well, Prince Aiden.
I mean, I've got low-level healing spells, but I've used a lot of my spell slots.
So who else needs healing? I have healed this one back to full.
Well, we can also spend hit dice because
Yeah.
we're taking a short rest.
Hit dice are much more efficient because you don't use them for anything else unless you're the troll.
Yeah, I didn't take any damage.
I've only spent one spell.
Actually,
I know
my
my
suit
way.
took damage. I'm gonna have to do repairs. Well, if we do a rest.
Oh, for doing a rest. If I would,
I mean,
I will continue working on these chain hooks then.
Taking a short rest.
Since it's gonna be short.
I'll take an hour to work on some chain hooks.
You get a little bit of progress in.
Oh yeah, how's that dragon leather coming?
Oh yes, I'm making dragon leather.
Are you?
I was.
Our two crafters are over here crafting.
I'm sorry. Thank you for reminding me of that. Yes, can I continue on my dragon leather?
That's stuff you typically have to do over the course of a long rest. But you make a little bit of progress, just like an hour's worth, which is what it
It's
is.
not much.
Not enough for a roll.
We only got one or two trade skills.
You can have as many as you want in 5th edition because of like tool proficiencies. But you would have had 2 from 3.5 from the 3.5 version.
I only have blacksmithing.
Blacksmithing. I'm assuming you had mining, or no,
No,
you had.
I didn't take mining because he had
No,
mining.
you had
Carpentry.
carpentry.
I had carpentry. That was the other one. I need a pencil.
Okay.
Is that pencil working?
I just need to wait.
We can share it. We don't have pencils with eraser. No.
Why is there a dragon in your cup?
Because he's adorable and he's bathing in the blood of his enemy right now, which tastes like red cream.
Is it a part of the cup or is it a mini?
Yes.
No,
Something
it's
part
a
of the
part of the cup.
That's interesting.
It's a mug that comes with a little dragon inside of it. It's a thing. Things
What happens if he
inside it.
drowns?
It's a water dragon.
He doesn't drown.
I see.
That's why she specifically didn't fill it up above his head.
Yeah, also I don't like to fill it above his head so he can still breathe.
I like to think that it's one of those it's one of those drinks that has there's actually a tunnel in the mouth of it that goes all the way to the bottom, so you can never fill it up past it. 'Cause it just drains out the bottom.
That'd be a terrible feature for a cup.
That was what was that cup for? Because that's a historical thing.
That was for
It was for overindulge. It was so people wouldn't overindulge. Like you could. So it was and it was at the bottom of the cup basically.
So
Or something.
to clarify,
It goes
they
like
couldn't
outside.
have made a smaller cup.
Well, no.
It had to put a hole in it.
So the way it worked was it had a little valve in the bottom, basically, that went vertical, so that as the cup filled up, it also filled up. And if you overfilled the cup, it would just drain entirely out because the pressure would get so high that it would just pour out the bottom.
Again,
So you could only drink. It was meant to. It's like a discipline. It's like a self-discipline thing. And if you fill it up too much, you get nothing basically, and it spills all over you.
It was a symbolism thing, and
Yeah.
B, it was to prevent someone from who like at taking more than their share of X drink.
Yeah.
You know, don't take too much of the community wine.
you know, smaller
Just
cups.
a smaller
I mean,
cup.
Yeah, smaller cups don't have as much symbolism.
Yeah, because the entire cup would just
I don't
empty
know.
out.
I think a smaller cup symbolizes drinking less pretty well.
Because the entire basically it was if you took too much, the entire thing would just
to it.
empty out.
Yeah,
This sounds like somebody in the Renaissance who was like,
it was definitely a
how
Renaissance
can I
era
take
thing.
Renaissance ingenuity and overcomplication and apply it to like
Something
cathedral
simple.
style?
I don't remember. I don't remember who made it, but I remember that it was a thing. Yeah,
Oh no, that sounds like something from the Renaissance.
absolutely. Hang on, let me see if I can find it.
Regardless,
Yes. So anyway,
Are we there
we
yet?
journey, we
Yeah.
rest, we journey, we dance. I don't dance.
Dance.
Well, then you're no friend of mine.
so after a certain amount of time, you reach the pass between the mountains.
It's called a Pythagorean cup.
Okay.
That's what it was.
Ridiculous.
You reach the pass between the mountains that leads
So it's
to
Greek.
the
That
car.
makes even more sense.
So we're in the mountains.
So we're in the mountains. We can't
we're
drink in the
in the
mountains. Let's go.
Sorry,
It's created by Pythagoras.
Anyway. Are there any Yeti around?
Sorry, it was a practical joke device. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Regardless.
So
So we're in the mountains.
as you cross over this path, you see as you rise up the high mesas of this highlands sort of you begin to climb up towards the base of them, and as you finally hit what is essentially the heightened ground level of the highlands, it's sort of like rounding the top of a hill. And immediately stretching out before you is this massive expanse of green land and mountainous terrain. You can see it's very rough and wild. It definitely there's a lot of land that has sort of a natural symmetry or like unique patterns to them. This place feels very slapdash. There are stretches of mountain that rise up and then fall incongruously. There are bits of hill that just have jagged angles. There's odd mesas where the earth just seems to have cracked and risen a bit. And everywhere you look, you can see the transition from grass to mountain to hillock as this sort of like clash of elements all in one location as the Highlands takes up an interesting view, but has a sort of natural beauty to it as you look over it, and you sort of stop and take in the view for a moment, and there the road stretches before you, and you can see as this hill begins to turn back downward just a bit and sort of slowly descend. You can see there are the ruins of a pair of what looks like to have been once maybe warding gates to stop armies from entering through this pass have been blasted down and left for however many decades since that area was last held. And so there's a beaten path traveling through the ruins of these warding walls.
I forgot. What did we decide was the throw rules on my Orcish chain?
20 feet.
20 feet.
Mm,
It was an athletics check.
use your reaction to try and pull it back.
Yeah.
So as far, I mean, the terrain itself is all diverse. What are the life forms in this area? What sort of life am I taking note of?
You've just gotten here, so you haven't taken a deep look yet. But from what you can tell, as you look around, you spot a couple of goats that definitely sort of fit the terrain.
Yeah.
Very sort of mountain
Going into grasslands, going into mountains. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's a variety. Like you see a few different goats. Looking up overhead, you spy some birds of prey, maybe eagles, maybe larger, and the occasional like small vermin creature, probably like a hare of some kind, occasionally darts past, and it's
Small lagomorphs, predatory birds, goats.
yeah,
Your standard.
it's very Scottish Highlands.
Okay.
What are we looking for here again?
Like the area is very Scottish Highlands.
Yeah,
I've forgotten. What are we looking for again?
Twilight's hammer.
That's right. Do we see any signs of Twilight's hammer?
I mean, physically, do we see any signs of
Collect the bounty on
I would like
civilization?
I would like to begin looking for, as we're traveling through, I would like to look out for oddities in the nature.
Alright.
Places devoid of life, or where life is oddly balanced, or where the terrain or plant life has been marred in some regard.
Go ahead and just roll me a perception check.
So, I want to try the same general idea, but sort of sensing around for. Because I imagine the Twilight's hammer is not exactly something that the light is very appreciative of, and I'm trying to see if I can feel that at all.
Yeah, I'll commune with the spirits and see if there's any distress this way. Please help.
Go ahead and roll me religion checks, both of you.
19, by the way.
Would that be with intelligence or with wisdom?
With
Or
spirit.
with spirit.
With spirit. Yeah.
Cool.
So religion with spirit. Okay. In that case, lower. Actually, no, it's the same.
Nice.
21.
24.
21, 24? Okay. So, the thing that you notice as you look around for oddities, as you look around, sort of gazing around, there's occasional trees throughout this area, very sparse, very evergreen, very sturdy to stand up to the elements of this elevated terrain. The thing that stands out to you is you can sort of see over the crest of a nearby series of hillocks. You can see the canopy of a series of very tall and very ancient-looking tree with crimson red leaves, which stands out to the green of everything else around here.
Okay.
Which is the thing that you know with just your looking for odd things. Which, because you just arrived, you'll probably see more as you journey further.
Sure.
The light here, the light you can sense when you call upon it anywhere. This place is not particularly strong in the light. It doesn't yet feel particularly oppressed in the light. You don't feel a weakness or a strain of the presence of the light here yet, but again, you just arrived. As for the spirits, this is a place that sees constant change. It has seen turmoil for decades, maybe hundreds of years, and that is present in the activity of the spirits here. This land, you can sense, has endured much, not just personal change, but physical change over time, and that sort of reflects in the fluid nature of the elements here. If that makes any sense.
So I don't get a sense of danger over this way. Come here.
Not immediately.
I imagine it was that easy. This wouldn't be as much of a problem.
No.
I don't know. They don't have shamans over here.
There be goblins.
Beware the goblins.
Goblin?
Yeah, goblin, not goblins. So if he clones himself, then we have to work.
Goblin? I think we're above them.
What?
Trying to point for the purposes of the twitches. I believe that's
Twitches?
where the goblin is.
Directly below you, actually.
Oh, okay. So,
Perfect.
goblin.
Well, your hand appears in the camera, so it's just like in the foreground of his shot, just pointing that way.
Goblin.
There you go. Well, it'd be off to your left.
Regardless, before we overanalyze the joke,
Yes.
I point at the tree
Yeah.
and begin walking that way.
Well, it is worth noting that the tree, where the road that heads into the Highlands continues east and begins to curve south, the tree is off the beaten path to the north. So it would definitely be sort of like
Out of the way.
moving off of the road and trying to investigate that oddity if you want to head that way.
Turns
Can.
out we're here to investigate oddities.
Yeah, you can, but it'll definitely be hitting off the road.
Of course.
I point because this is where they are, right? This is where the Twilight Hammer activity has
Supposedly somewhere in this region, yes.
Cool. I point and begin going.
I'll go ahead and start moving towards it, yeah.
Does it look like the cart will be able to follow?
It'll probably be able to follow for a certain distance, but then you'll be heading up into very rough terrain that doesn't have any roads, and it'd probably be pretty difficult.
We can bring it at least part of the way there.
Well, yeah.
Then just like stray off for a few minutes, leave someone behind, or
Do we have a?
I suppose I'm going to get into my suit just in case.
Pull the cart off to the side of the road.
I'll pull it up as far as we can. And,
So
See if we can find a place to hide it.
pull the card up as far as you can. If you want to hide it, go ahead and roll me a survival check with dexterity or agility.
Oh, good. I can do that.
You can do that.
That's gonna be a 20.
20? Yeah, you managed to find an appropriate sort of lee space between two hills and sort of camouflage it with some of the foliage. So that theoretically no one should even have a chance to see it if they're not sitting at just the right angle to see between the hills. And then even if they do, they might just mistake it for overgrown bush. And you continue on up this tall, hilly area. As you as you travel up the hills,
Ouch.
Everything's fine.
Nothing will ever be fine
Just
again.
rolling around.
What happened?
Just rolled off.
What?
Just rolled off the blanket.
Did he land?
He'd been off the blanket for a little bit.
Yeah, I know, but here's...
He's alright.
so
Nothing will ever be okay again. Ever again. The world is in there. Let's make no man's pleasure.
So, as you journey over the hills, the ground here.
Just a favor, Steve.
Yeah.
I hear the
Find the
cries of the baby.
Oh, look, there's a Moses metaphor right there. Sorry, that's Thrall.
As you travel up these hills, the ground around you slowly.
That's a biblical reference.
The ground becomes slowly more. As it becomes more hilly and more rough terrain, it also becomes more lush as the grass becomes thicker and the soil begins to feel more rich and loamy beneath your feet.
This soil feels loamy. I can sense it.
As you walk, you can see you see several trees begin to crop up, all with this sort of reddish reddish bark and crimson leaves. The sort of reddish brown bark coloration, and the leaves are like bright red.
ritual cast detect magic.
Go ahead.
I'm just going to investigate this tree
And
with my
as
knowledge of nature and that sort of thing.
you cast detect magic, and you can feel the presence of magical energy sort of suffusing this place.
Can I tell what kind of magic?
It's very primal. It's not. It's life magic, but it's
probably
not
druidic in nature.
specifically not druidic. It is a variety of life magic that you've not particularly dealt
Are
with.
there any animals around?
I rolled a natural 20 on my nature check while to investigate this tree.
The trees that you look around are consummately healthy. You don't know why they're red, but they are perfectly healthy. Their roots are strong. The bark is strong. The leaves are.
So it's not sort of aberration or change or environmental factor. It's either it's how these trees are, or it's straight up magic.
Yeah, one or the other. But
I point out that there's magic at play.
you haven't seen
There's
any
magic.
other red trees in the area.
Do these trees look like they're the same variety of trees as the other, just red, or
Leaf
is it a
says, "I
completely
smell
different
magic in the air."
brand of tree?
These are more like they're built in the bark more like willows. Like the branches are very high and very spread, but the leaves themselves are more broadleaf. Like there's just like a large
Okay.
bush of leaves at the very top.
So it's a unique kind of tree in general from everything else around.
Generally, like everything else, you're looking at more like deciduous and more like pine needles and stuff.
That would be coniferous.
Sorry, coniferous. More coniferous trees. In the Highlands in general.
This was more willowy,
Yeah.
deciduous nonsense.
Are there any animals around?
Yes, mostly vermin, like rabbits and like small, like butterflies and like small things. You haven't seen anything particularly large in the
I'd
area.
like to see if I can coax a rabbit or something near to me.
Roll me animal handling.
That's another question. Do these animals?
That's natural one. They scare.
Do these animals seem afraid, or are these
They
like
flee.
prey animals that typically are used to being hunted here, or do they seem abnormally comfortable?
They still have their instincts. They still move when you draw close, but they definitely seem more comfortable here than anywhere else in typical environments.
And if I can get within like
Less threat.
the range for detect magic, do they seem magically
No,
influenced?
they seem fine.
If I could,
So,
if someone could get a hold of an animal, I could talk to it. I just can't get them to come to me.
I'm gonna go grab a rabbit.
As
I'll get an animal.
you start chasing down animals, you hear a melodic voice kind of float through the air. Welcome to the Vermilion Redoubt.
That works too.
How can I assist you? You
Turn
hear a
to
voice. You turn and you see a blood elf. The sort of the long golden hair stretching down to about center chest with this crimson robe that it wears. It reaches about to its feet. The sort of faintly greenish eyes. And he sort of looks at the group of you with this sort of this ageless look that many blood elves are known to have, although he in particular seems sort of distant looking, as if he's looking through you rather than at you. As the group of you turn to face him, he just has his hands in his robes, just arms crossed with the hands disappearing in the robes, typical monk style. As he looks at the group of you, and just kind of his gaze lingers on each of you.
Greetings. We've come seeking Twilight's hammer activity, hoping perhaps you could point us in the right direction.
You see his expression sour ever so faintly. Yes, the Twilight's hammer have been causing trouble in the region.
We're here to put a stop to that.
Hopefully you can make a difference. The Horde and Alliance have both been fighting their presence here and each other as well. The strongest activities are where the land is dire, which you'll typically find further south and east. A great cancer has grown in the earth far to the east near the coast, where I fear the Twilight's hammer have awoken something ancient and evil.
Oh, goody.
What time of day is it?
It's probably just past noon.
So, what is this place exactly? I've noticed the magic of life here, but it's not something I'm familiar with.
This is the Vermilion Redoubt. It is a haven of nature and life in this region. I am its keeper. You can call me Aquinas.
Leaf Ironbender.
Shiana.
Garrett Cloud Speaker. That one's name is Josh.
It sort of looks at the goblin for a second. I would ask that you refrain from trampling any of the plants or animals in this region.
Yes.
I'll keep him in check. So you haven't seen much activity of the cult up here, I imagine?
This place is well protected. The Twilight's Hammer cultists, though they grow bolder, have yet to dare venturing this far north.
Did you say what direction we should go looking?
South and east.
South and east.
Pretty much where we were going to go.
I'm gonna go see if I can find an animal to talk to and chat with about this weird place and that weird person.
Roll me animal handling.
That was a good shot.
Threw it on the ground.
You threw it on the kid.
You got to throw dice handling.
That's a natural one.
I'm scared of you too.
Yep. There aren't that many large animals here, and you are a large animal,
Fair.
so they tend to scatter.
So let's head south and see
I like
what we
that.
figure
It's
out.
like Derek's like, well, I'm not good at this in the first place, but they're all scared of me. And then John Gotal's like, they're not scared of me only, and they're all scared of me too.
I imagine they don't see trolls.
Stupid Lagomorphs.
Full stop.
So let's
No,
head
they see
south.
trolls. They're scared of trolls.
I go back to the wagon. And
I suspect actually what it is, I'm doing it perfectly fine. Snack friend wrapped around my shoulder.
Yeah,
though.
there's a snake there, and that's a known predator.
Yeah. There's a big snake there.
Can I try approaching them?
Roll me animal handling.
As we all attempt
You can
to
only
mingle
roll
with
one
the
hand.
rabbits.
You're worse at animal handling than I am.
Oh, yeah.
You have -1.
and she only has one hand.
No, I don't.
You have a.
No,
Yeah,
just
no,
a
yeah.
zero.
No, minus
so
one.
handling.
It's spirit.
Oh, it's spirit. Never mind. You're just
8. It's not a 1.
It isn't a 1, but
so you are better.
the animals frighten of you only right when you get next to them. Like as you're reaching down to try and pick one of them up, they bolt.
Because you still have your
They
stupid
sense
claws
my
on.
attitude.
Yeah.
You forgot to take off the claws of attacks.
Huh.
You're like trying to get them with the claw.
Oops. Dinner.
Right. Well then,
I doubt these rabbits contain the secrets of the universe.
we should be off.
Yes, we shall not invade
have a
our
direction.
grove any longer. Thank you for the information.
What time of year is it?
It's probably full.
Are there any seed pods of this tree?
The red trees?
Yeah.
There are very large acorns. Like we're talking like larger than fist
Like
sized.
apple-sized.
I'm gonna harvest about a half dozen of these acorns.
As you sort of go out and start picking some of the acorns
I
up.
mentioned there's some on the ground.
Yeah, like you grab some of the acorns off the ground, and the elf just kind of watches you as you pick them up and just sort of observes what you intend to do with them.
Put them in a bag and then dry them out to preserve them over time, and then
Eat them later.
more in the like not drying like I'm gonna cook them, as in I'm gonna try to plant these and see if I can get some of these cool red trees back home because we're all about red.
I mean, yeah, we need red
The
trees.
horde needs some red trees.
We need some red trees.
And black ones too.
Because when we
And gold.
we'll just have a rainbow of trees.
A horde rainbow of trees.
A horde.
It might be hard to find the
Then
blue
we-
one.
Or we grow a rainbow tree, and then we turn that into a ballista bolt, and just say "taste the rainbow" every time we fire it.
Wait a second. So when you say a rainbow tree, are you saying
Like a
tree that's
rainbow-colored
colored
tree.
like a rainbow, or a
Yes.
tree that grows rainbows?
A tree that is colored
fires
like a
rainbow things.
That is more of a gnomish thing. I'm talking about a tree that's colored with the rainbow. Like the bark is rainbow
You'd have
colored.
to get
I
some
think
sort
the
of.
gnomes have the right idea on this.
I grabbed my acorns, and I think we're done.
Chase the rainbow.
Yes. I'm gonna start going south.
So we head south. We head back to get
Since
south.
the animals won't have anything to do with me or Snack
We go back. The rest of us go get the cart and then head south.
Apparently,
I
6
did
foot
that.
long snakes are worrisome if you're
Two
a rabbit.
rabbits. Yes.
As you
It's not just 6 foot long snake. It's 6 foot long winged snakes. It's a snake and it's a hawk.
Oh, yeah.
Both the snake and the bird. Yes.
It's also a venomous snake the size of a large constrictor.
Yeah.
as you start to leave, you see Aquinas kind of like just sort of walk over and just like slightly bend over and extend a hand, and one of the rabbits just straight runs up to him and leans into his arms, and he just kind of holds it there and faintly pets it as the group of you start to leave.
Stupid rabbit.
This is-
Kids.
lean over to Shauna. This is why blood elves aren't welcome in Orgrimmar all that much. They like to show off.
And he just kind of like watches the group of you as you leave, just sort of slowly caressing the rabbit.
Such a blood elf thing to do. Look at these guys. All 3 of these guys failed to touch the rabbit. I'm just gonna easy.
Goodbye.
Richard, where are we going? So what the gaming table needs next is a built-in baby station.
Yep.
But you return to the cart and start the move southeast. As you go, the road kind of bends south, and as you eventually, after several hours, as the sun is beginning to just faintly begin to reach the horizon, you still have a couple more hours before it actually gets dark. But at this point, you reach a bend in the road, a fork in the road, where you can see if you continue heading straight south, it starts to curve back west, and you can see as it begins to rise, you can see more of those battered down guard walls that have been left in ruin. So it seems like whatever fortification was the source of these walls that has likely been ransacked at least more than once.
What style of walls are they?
Large and stone, like big, heavy, square
like-
things.
Very clearly human or dwarf, or are there something else?
You had to take a guess, you'd probably say dwarf.
Let's go towards the southeast
And then,
not
yeah,
towards the war zone.
Yeah, and so that's if you continue going south, it starts to curve back west. But the other fork goes east and begins to descend even further as the Highlands have this weird height alteration as they start to drop down a bit.
So
So
he's still high, but not quite as high as the other Highlands.
We'll head east for a bit.
slightly less Highlands.
We'll head east for a bit and see what we find. Continuing to look for signs of Twilight's hammer activity.
So it's not quite as high as the Highlands, but it's also higher than the Soberlands.
So we head east.
Yeah. I just want to let that linger for a second.
Yeah. Just wanted to let Zach stew in his shame for a little bit.
That would work if he felt shame.
Yeah, I don't think he does.
So
Oh no, he very obviously does. He's hiding his face right now. This is the clearest sign of shame.
I see an eye.
as you head east, the hills slowly sort of build around you as you start heading down, and the rest of the land doesn't quite follow. But eventually, as you hit the bottom of this hill, you begin to see, as the hills give way, there's a river almost directly to your southeast that sort of cuts across the land and drives further eastward, likely out to the ocean, which is to the east. And as you sort of get a look around, you can see probably another like 10 miles. So if you wanted to get there, you'd be in the middle of the dark if you wanted to get there tonight. But there is an outpost to the east, just directly across the river, a ways down. But as you look over there, you can see the telltale signs of orcish building, sort of the very sort of the heavy palisades and the buildings that you can see over them are sort of very wide and with sort of the traditional like shingle style roofs and the horns on the corners of the building that sort of very much signify old orcish style building. The shingles are painted black for whatever that might mean, and the ground around it seems to be vaguely scorched, like it's been burnt several times.
Can I tell who's manning it?
Not from this distance. It's like you're just seeing the outpost in the distance. Anyone who might be manning it is like a dot.
And I can't see any flags that might be flying.
Yeah, not yet.
Have we had a long rest yet?
Not since getting up.
No.
Yeah.
Since we got
And
we should
then
probably
to the south,
stop.
you can see again, sort of above some of the hills, there is a spire that seems to be twisted out of some sort of metal. You can see this tall, spiraling, metallic structure stretching into the sky as these sort of 4 or 5 metal tendrils seem to twine in and around each other as it stretches up into the air, and eventually, almost like a blooming flower made of this strange metal, sort of spreads out into like a platform at the very top.
Do I know?
That sort of blooms out with these metal tendrils.
Do I recognize this style of building?
No, that's not something that you've ever seen anywhere before.
Does it look like it was constructed or magically formed?
You would have to say that it would be constructed because it's made out of metal, but at the same time, its shape is too non-Euclidean. It twists and curves rather than having angles. So it almost, if you had to take a guess, it would almost have to have been made with magic.
So possibly gnomish if I had to take a guess, or something just so far out of my reference frame.
It's very, like, you've never seen anything like this.
Hmm.
It seems vaguely menacing, though.
Okay, so too scary to be gnomish.
Yeah. The metal is sort of dark, like purplish black, and has a faint sheen to it that doesn't seem quite natural.
Who wants to bet that tower has something to do with the cult activity around here?
Possibly, but also equally possible something entirely different. I would say, though, we should either rest here, or pull off the road and rest for the night, or continue on towards what appears to be an orcish camp.
There's no guarantee if it's still orcish, but
That would be my thinking for resting here rather than pushing on immediately.
yes.
I'm more willing to go to an orcish.
So push on and potentially find out if it's not, though.
Then we could find a place to camp and set up a watch.
Let's push on then.
I'm not trusting this.
Push on towards the orcish camp then.
All right. So it's probably a couple hours into the dark before you actually start to approach the body of the camp. As you've had to ford the river, but thankfully there was a spot where it got low enough that you could bring the wagon across.
Because we do have someone in the party has a spyglass. I know, don't you?
I don't think I have one actually. It was.
I thought someone did.
The last time you had a spyglass was, I believe, the captain of the airship had one.
Yeah, I think that was.
That's right.
I think that was it. Not the main one.
But once it gets dark, fires are put out on the camp, so there's definitely illumination there. There are definitely people inhabiting the camp. As you
Could you? I don't think I'm high level enough to be able to jerry rig a contraption yet, but could you possibly? I say to the other tinker who is currently over there, jerry rig some kind of a telescope or magnification device so we can hopefully see them before they see us.
Oh yeah, I can do that.
Good to know.
I've set it to silent, but it doesn't.
Yeah, but it's not good.
Well, they jury rig something.
Yeah.
What does it take to jury rig one of these things?
I'd say just give me an engineering roll. If you're gonna jury rig something to try and make it work now,
Yeah.
you know how jury rigging works. You make it works once and then it breaks down.
Yeah, sure.
What are you trying to jury rig?
Just a little
Spyglass,
spyglass.
basically.
Just get a couple lenses together and see what we can figure
Just
out.
Hold your hand up and squeeze it until you
Yeah.
have just a pinprick. And
That works.
you really don't even have to roll for a jury rig. You just build it.
Oh, okay.
And it'll probably take you about let me see. Let me take a quick look here.
5 minutes.
I'm just trying to see how much materials it'll cost you.
I can
oh,
stealth over there, Shiana says.
That's true.
Didn't you
Too.
do that last time?
Well, I could go with her. That way
Shut up, I'm alive.
You get caught and almost.
Well,
Shut up, I'm alive.
I can
stealth-
I
have
can
to
stealth
come rescue
with her, and then
You can
let know.
stealth to the point that you can use the spyglass, and then you won't have to get as close.
To sort of very quickly arrange like a lens array that would
Yeah.
actually be functional, because glass work is very difficult to do, especially in like
Right.
less than high advanced times.
I mean, I imagine
Um,
myself being, priest of the holy light, tinker. I've done experimentations with lenses.
Yeah,
and glassware.
it's expensive work. So I would say,
But I probably got some materials on hand.
yeah, to put that together, you're probably going to need about 100 gold worth of materials.
100.
Yeah, because
Which is
by the way, a spyglass is 1,000 gold.
Oh, they are.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. All right.
Spyglass is kind of a
Well, so if I
I mean, you could.
I mean,
You like the reason that doing this works is because of narrow.
it's like squinting. Yeah, I know.
So
I do that a lot when I don't have my
You
glasses.
could theoretically make a glass with spyglass. It just wouldn't have the same range.
I mean, we could just go. She and I could just go stealth up there and
Yeah.
see stuff. That'd be fun.
Actually,
Come on.
You don't even have dark vision.
Troll's gonna wave his hand,
Yeah.
pull up Snake Friend,
Yeah.
and Snake Friend's going to fly up for a second, and then fly. Is there any cloud cover?
It's relatively clear night, but it's still also night, so.
Snake Friend is going to fly up to the city to a point, and then get down and stealth up and use his incredible stealth abilities. Because
Sure.
he's a snake.
Roll me stealth.
Your child is very loud.
Sorry.
I know.
Do we want to try putting
He might be ready for bed.
Yeah,
He probably just needs a full bottle. Hang on just a second.
I can do it.
It's a 25 stealth check.
So the snake
You're on there.
manages to very cautiously and carefully just slink among the grass. It turns out, grass-colored snake in tall grass.
Yeah,
It works.
one of the reasons that Snake is good at stealth.
So the snake just kind of slithers and slides up towards the camp. And
What is this?
It's an air bubble under your nail.
How do I get rid of it?
It grows out.
Hmm.
Yeah, there's little white bumps on the middle of your nails. It's an air bubble.
so,
It's gotten bigger.
Yeah, as it grows, it can spread.
So as the snake slowly slithers up, as it gets closer, you can definitely see that these walls are manned. There are large, broad figures, definitely orcish in shape, that are manning the walls, carrying torches. And go ahead and roll a perception check for the snake.
No.
They're orcish figures, as far as I can tell. Natural one. Yeah, they're orcish figures.
All right. Is it a palisade wall?
Yeah, it's a palisade.
Is there?
It's a palisade that seems to have like quick wooden platforms on the opposite side, just so that someone can get a good view over them because they're very tall.
Is there an easy way for Snake Friend to slip into the town?
There are open archways that the ground around it is very scorched. The grass sort of starts to die out as you get closer to the camp. and like there's like a big, wide, blackened scorch mark that stretches out from the camp to about like 20 feet outside the perimeter of the
So
palisades.
there's no cover.
Not really.
Huh. How far does the light illuminate? Like, are these?
It's about to the end. It's about like the illumination of the light starts to dim about halfway out of the scorch line from the palisade, and sort of begins to really fade right as about where it hits the grass line.
How well would a yellowish-green snake be visible from above where it's dark and from below where it's lit?
Well, it's a yellowish-green snake against a black ground.
Yes.
So it'd probably stand out a bit.
You probably just want to report.
Are flying snakes a thing over here?
You haven't seen any. They're definitely much more. If there are any in the Eastern Kingdoms, you haven't seen any. They're much more common in Kalimdor.
Okay. Snake friend's gonna return.
Snake returns.
Snake friend gets back. Snake friend and Troll have a powwow, and then Troll stands up, walks over, draws a line in the dirt, draws a little circle, puts some little teeth on it, and then points at the tooth, and then walks over to Garrick and pats him on the shoulders, and then points back at Garrick.
Banned by orcs then.
Alright. Picks up the teeth, puts it back in his bag.
There are orcs in the Twilight, however. So that doesn't really involve much.
True.
Yeah.
But
We probably need to camp out in case we. Well, I don't know. We don't want to hit them being tired.
Well, it could also just be an orcish outpost. We do know that.
I know,
We do know that
exactly.
the horde is operating in the area.
Well, you want he and I to go up there and talk to them?
I reach over into the cart and pick up my sashimono. There's an easier way to find out.
Okay.
If they start shooting at me, then they're not horde.
True.
So, Allah let me walk ahead of the cart, stay a bit back. If I
Stay
don't
pretty
get
close.
shot, come on up.
Okay.
If I do, I'll turn around.
And get shot in the back.
I'm healthy. I'm at full health. Have the best armor class, and
Yeah.
haven't wasted and have only spent one spell. So I'm good to heal myself if I need to get away.
I can also accompany if needed because I'm also at
And
ridiculous
you
health.
heal too. So it's like, yeah. So I equip my sashimono, and the troll and I walk up towards the thing ahead of the cart.
So you guys start walking ahead. As you get
If we're making this horde allegiance obvious, I'll cast the light cantrip on it, so it's a giant glowing neon sign, basically.
Don't do that
I turn it off.
because we can see in the dark,
Alright.
and it would be weird.
okay.
Because then it would be like, why are they trying to draw attention to the sashimono? It draws enough attention on its own.
Alright.
We do the thing.
So yes.
Okay, what's happening?
We've decided that the orc and the troll who are at full health and can take a beating are going to walk up and see the reaction of the orcs.
Which orc?
There,
The
so
ones that, there are orcs manning the walls in the outpost.
and
No.
me, the one with the
Okay.
sashimono. I've put my horde sashimono on, and then
Okay.
Jangatal and I are walking up ahead of the
The
cart.
tanks are going to go see if they need to absorb damage or not.
Thanks.
If they react negatively to the sashimono, we know it's not a horde outpost anymore.
And we know it's probably not a good place to try to rest for the night.
Okay.
Unless we kill all the inhabitants first.
Which is.
We'll see how many of them there are.
Slaughter 50 people.
I mean, that
by
sounds like
themselves.
the kind of thing that would
mean,
just end up
good
summoning
luck.
reinforcements.
I have killed a lot of people.
Let's summon reinforcements, please.
Anyway, we approach the wall, the gate,
Yeah,
door,
so
the archway.
the two of you approach, and as you get closer, you see one of the guards on the walls definitely spots you, and you see the torch start waving a signal to whoever's inside the camp. and a few moments later, a figure begins to leave the gate, moving towards you. And as you approach, the light of the fire illuminates a tall and broad orc with black hair, sort of in a sharp mohawk that sort of stretches across the head, with these two long sideburn tufts and then a single bit of hair on the chin. What strikes you as odd about this orc is actually the color of his skin. Rather than green or brown like you would see on a traditional either regular orc or Mag'har orc, this orc's skin is a dark gray. Not quite the black gray of a Blackrock orc, but a sort of a more stone gray. Something more, a lot paler than a Blackrock orc would typically be. And his armor is mostly just a leather harness across his torso and a single heavily spiked pauldron on his right arm. And he carries a large sword in his right hand with sort of heavy metal leggings and boots to cover his lower body. And his eyes are just faintly yellowish glow, which is something that several orcs do have, but it's not usual. It's not a usual eye color is yellow.
It's a Blackrock thing, isn't it?
Usually Blackrock.
So they seem like not right Blackrock orcs.
Roll me history, because you might not have dealt with them, but you probably know.
Does my third war survivor feature?
Not quite. These weren't present in the Third War.
Okay.
As I said, that's a D12 you got there.
That's a D12. Yeah, that's the wrong one. Where's my other D20? Oh, there it is. History?
Yeah.
That's an 8.
I mean, you're an orc. The DC wasn't high. It's like Dragon Maw.
What's the significance of Dragon Maw?
They were the ones who tamed the dragons in the Second War.
Ah, okay.
That's why they're called Dragon Maw.
Okay. Weren't they a splinter of the Blackrock orcs?
No, they were their own. They were their own tribe. They had a sort of similar coloration to the Blackrocks because they were also mountain orcs.
Yeah.
But they were paler, had yellow eyes after the blood transformation, and they did not join the Horde as far as you knew. Once it reformed, they stayed in their mountains.
Yeah, they captured and tamed black dragons.
Red dragons. Red dragons.
Okay, red dragons.
Not in fun ways.
Yeah.
The red dragons were not trained willingly.
So these are not Horde, but they're not necessarily Twilight's Hammer.
No. At least as far as you know.
Loktar Dragon Maw.
Mokra, Greenskin, it's good to see you.
We're traveling in the area searching out Twilight's Hammer, hoping to perhaps find a place to rest for the night.
Well, if you're looking for a place of rest, you've found it. Welcome to Blood Gulch.
I'll extend an arm.
He takes it.
I will. I probably have a signal horn. I'll pull off and just horn back to the cart.
We move up.
Well,
Okay.
a few of your own are actually here ahead of you. I assume you said you're here looking for Twilight's Hammer. No, there's plenty of them active around here.
Good. Hopefully we can, as we rest, acquire any information that you might have to help us in our hunt.
Well, join us for a meal around the fire first, and we'll talk in the morning, shall we?
Very well.
My name is Malkar.
Garrick, Cloud Speaker. This is Junga Tall, Wild Walker with me. And as the others come up, they'll introduce themselves.
Yeah. It's about now is when the wagon pulls up and he looks over at the group of you.
Shauna Flamecarver, Leaf Ironmender, and Josh.
And Brick.
And Brick.
And Brick the Tauren.
Yes.
He looks
Very
over
quiet.
at the group of you, sort of shakes a hand with each of you individually. When he gets to you, Leaf, he sort of shakes your hand and sort of gives you a look up and down. Yes, another one of your kin's here as well.
There are other half-orcs here, or...
Just the one, but yes, she's here.
Uh-oh.
Sorry, whenever you say she in relation to a half-orc, there's only one that comes to mind. I know there are more than one, but still.
Well, I mean, Have you done this zone in World of Warcraft?
I have not.
All right.
That's why I didn't recognize the tower you were describing. I'm like, I'm trying to figure out what it was, but I can't think of it.
Yeah.
That is to a campfire.
So you head in, and there are several campfires that have been set up, and it's not hard to spot the half orc in amongst a group of orcs, especially because she's one of the only people with green skin. The half orc, as you spot her, is by one of the central fires, speaking with another green skinned orc. Her hair is black, pulled back into a pair of tails on the back of the head.
You went with twin-tailed version.
With the sort of bluish tattoos that run across the length, that run across the breadth of her shoulders. She's very well built, but definitely much more lithe than a typical orc. She's definitely half orcish in build. Tusks protruding out of the lower lip, very sharp. Her eyes glow purple, which is unusual for orcs, even half orcs. She wears these sort of very tight, very form-fitting leather armor with a pair of daggers hooked into her belt that are very vicious and aggressive looking.
Can I roll a history check to see if I recognize Garona half-orcan?
Good.
Natural 20.
Yes, you recognize Garona half-orcan. Like I said, have you done this zone? She's here.
No, I have not in the zone. There is only one. There, according, like in World of Warcraft, as far as World of Warcraft is concerned, there is only one half orc.
She's not half human either. She's half Draenei.
Yep. So, do I recognize any of the people that she's with?
There's one that is definitely a horde soldier. It's a tall orc woman. Her hair is red and very lengthy and split into three very long braids. She wears this sort of very piecemeal sort of half plate with just like the metal is heaviest around the left arm where there's like an arm guard of metal on her left arm, and then breastplate and metal plating on the upper thighs and shins. And the right arm is mostly free, with just sort of a forearm guarding gauntlets, and a helmet that is more of like a serrated, more like a serrated crown. You have to go do your thing.
Sorry.
Ironically, you have to do work.
The helmet is like more like a serrated crown, like it's heavily spiked, and she's got a heavy, broad, like almost a cleaver style greatsword that's just sort of slung over her shoulder. As she's in the middle of conversation with Garona. The other orcs that you can see are all mostly Dragon Maw.
So that's kind of basically the only group of green-skinned orcs that we can see, basically.
Yeah.
Aside from what I, as a player, know about Garona half-orcan, what do I, as a character, know about Garona half-orcan?
You know that Garona half-orcan is a... from what you can recall, a Horde agent. Well, no, an independent agent that works with the Horde on several occasions. She still is not a direct servant of the Horde. She has more often than not been a member of neutral organizations. But when it comes down to the line of if you're going to work for one or the other, she tends to work with the Horde more than the Alliance. And you're showing the picture of Garona.
I was looking it up.
Did you find Twin Tails version?
By the look of it.
Yes, she has pigtails.
Yeah. There are two versions of Garona. There's Twin Tails and then full hair. Twin Tails is the worst version. So because her model in World of Warcraft, they made her before they made Twin Tails that had hair. So she was just bald with two pigtails going out the sides.
Yeah, but
It works great in art, though.
Yeah, well, in the art, because you can see the rest of her hair. But like the Warcraft model, Twin Tails Garona is the worst Garona.
I don't know.
Because it just looks that particular hairstyle just looks silly.
It's like she's got the whole top head thing just as pigtails.
yeah, it's like the tonsure as pigtails just looks on.
Yeah.
But she does actually have a full head of hair. It's long and pulled back into a pair of pigtails.
Yes.
But you know that she was instrumental to winning the first war, because she was the one who assassinated King Lane Rin.
Yeah.
You know that since then she's been mostly an independent operative, but she has assisted the Horde, especially as a spy, because she can move among everyone. Like everyone who knows of Garona generally.
Now I know who you're talking about. It took me this long to figure it out.
Everyone who knows of Garona. Everyone who knows of Garona respects her and appreciates her, and so when she has been hired as a spy, it's paramountly easy for her to do her job, especially with the rumors that she is, on some level, psychically active.
Yeah. So as we approach Garona Half-Orc, surprised to see you in these lands.
And she sort of looks up from the conversation that she was having with this other orc. If my memory doesn't deceive me, and it rarely does, you come from the Bladewind clan.
I did.
Yeah. What's left of it?
That would be me.
Well, welcome to Blood Gulch. You know me.
Garrett Cloudspeaker of the Soaring Fang. Shot a flame cover, leaf iron mender, brick, earth, what?
Whisper.
Earth Whisper. What?
Earth Whisper.
Earth Whisper, Jangatal Wild Walker, and Josh.
Goblin.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where it's like. That's why I always end with Josh.
Yeah, right. The last.
It makes the most comedic impact, and also would be how the orc would do it because it's like but you have to list out all the accolades, and then it's just Josh. We're here hunting Twilight's hammer.
Well, you're not the only one. I'm working here as a liaison of the Horde to try and help bring the Dragon Maw back in to the fold and also hunt down the Twilight's hammer.
Well, it seems we hunt the same prey then. On our way in, we noticed a strange metal tower. Do you have any idea what that is?
That would be the symbol of the Twilight's hammer's power in this region.
Is that where they're located?
It's difficult to say. The spire itself is mostly just a metallic fixture, although there's some heavy magical activity around it. We haven't been able to find signs of a base, at least not above ground, but we haven't seen any signs of an entrance below ground if there is a base beneath.
So you're thinking it's more likely to be some kind of magical tool rather than actually being a proper structure.
Yes, there's a military force and some encampment around the base of it, but there's not really a power structure there. There's no signs of important leaders. If I had seen Cho'Gall wandering around out there, I would have confirmed that that was their base, but I can't find any sign of him, although he's been rumored to be in this area.
Cho'Gall, is that a name we're familiar with?
Roll me history.
It's a name I'm familiar with, I would imagine.
You know the name.
He's been active in every war.
Yeah, you know the name at the very least.
Let's see if I know
24 history.
13?
18.
So, Cho'Gall is the name of a famous ogre, one of the more famous ogres that has been known. 24. Cho'Gall is an ogre mage. He's a spellcasting over two heads, Cho and Gall, and is the leader of the Twilight's Hammer clan when it was a clan of the Horde, and you can only assume retained that leadership when it broke off from the Horde. Similarly, you know exactly that, and also that Cho'Gall was one of the members of the Shadow Council.
Yeah, I will relate. Cho'Gall served with Gul'dan on the Shadow Council in the early wars. He also served as the leader of the Twilight's Hammer until they broke free from the Horde and went independent.
He's still their leader, and now they serve darker powers.
And you're expecting that he is active here?
That's the rumor, and certainly the Twilight's Hammer activity is heavier here than just about anywhere else. And there are a lot more. She looks up at the spire that is still technically visible, even though it's dark. If you've got really good night vision, you might be able to see the silhouette in the distance. A lot more overt here.
Have you tried to take it out with any siege weapons?
It stands up to just about everything. I don't know what it's made of, but it's more durable than any metal that we've dealt with.
Okay.
It's taken
Explosive.
it's taken a few heavy explosive shots and quite a few demolisher barrages from as close of a distance as we could manage. And as far as I can tell, we haven't put a dent in it.
Okay.
How close have you been able to get? Or at least how close have you risked going?
Close enough that we've had people engaged in active combat defending the siege weapons.
Right.
What are the numbers?
Difficult to tell. It fluctuates, but we typically see anywhere from several dozen to 100 or more defending the base of the structure.
So, not enough that it necessarily means they'd have to have a base there, but enough that it would certainly be implausible.
They're certainly doing something with that spire, whether it's a symbol or a magical focus or something else. There's something important about it, and I want to know what.
Well, our assignment here is to help deal with the Twilight's Hammer, so consider our forces added to your own.
Have you heard any activity of the so-called Black Knight?
Describe.
I'll describe from my up close and personal encounter with the Black Knight.
Yeah, you'd probably be better for a visual description. On that, so.
He's a knight, and he wears black.
A black armored knight that seemed akin to a dragon in nature, who was able to appeared human, but was able to bodily lift and skewer a Tauren with one hand.
We've heard rumors of a champion, a sort of figurehead on the military side. Cho'Gall's much more of a mastermind, a schemer, a magician in many ways. But we've heard rumors of a champion of Deathwing, a servant of the Twilight's Hammer clan and the Destroyer's martial symbol on the battlefield. But we haven't seen much sign of them. If they're going to be anywhere that's in this continent, they'll be around here, though.
This Black Knight also was posing as working with the Alliance. Have they attempted any tactics like that before? Or
We know the Twilight's Hammer is here now. Any disputes between us and the Alliance in this area are immediately double-checked to make sure they're not Twilight's Hammer cultists in disguise, and about 1 in 3 are.
So that's nothing new for them.
Yeah.
They instigated a. What was the fort we were at? Where
Fort Triumph.
at the
Or just
at the chasm?
Conquest Hold.
Yeah, Conquest Hold.
Conquest Hold and Fort Triumph. The
They-
Alliance base is Fort Triumph.
The machinations instigated additional conflict at Conquest Hold over in Kalimdor. We were there for that.
Well, that is the way of the Twilight's Hammer. They like to toss attention away from their actions by turning their opponents against each other. So they're too busy fighting themselves to see the true threat.
Well, as I said, you have our forces at your aid for this. Our task is to see to the end of the Twilight's Hammer here in the Highlands.
Well, what do you think, Traga? And she looks over at the tall orc woman with the long red hair. And the orc woman kind of looks over across the group of you. Well, at the moment I'm uncertain. Most of my legion was casualty in our last major push against the Twilight's Hammer. We still don't know where several of them are. But at the moment, the Blood Red Legion is severely under strength.
Do I know
Where have the
Blood
major
Red Legion?
battle lines been?
You can roll me a history check.
18.
The Blood Red Legion is a Horde allied guild. They're mostly military. They serve as sort of a backup military force for major Horde offensives. They're definitely sort of a solid and well-organized task force. What'd you get?
12.
Blood Red Legion is the guild that your brother went to join.
Oh, right. I'm sorry, what did she just mention about that?
She said most of her force was cut down in the most recent offensive.
Casualties or missing
Yeah.
But, wait,
in their last defense of the Twilight Hammer.
and her force is the Blood Red
Yes,
Legion?
she is apparently the leader of the Blood Red Legion.
Okay, this is going to sound so bad. I can't remember. What was her brother's name?
Merrick Steelarm.
Thank you. Okay, it wasn't Merrick. Okay. My brother is, I think, one of yours.
She looks over at you.
Merrick Steeler?
You're Merrick's kin.
Yes, I'm his sister.
I'm sorry, but I don't know if he's dead, but he's certainly missing.
We, as a guild, are most experienced with reconnaissance and small strike missions. We can attempt to possibly scout the area, see if we can find any of the missing units. Possibly hope to bolster the strength of your forces again.
Maybe.
If there is nothing else for us to do, then I believe that would be the best usage of our skills.
That definitely sounds like a solid plan. We've actually got one of our own scouts, one of the outliers, be coming back shortly. As you hear a bird's cry in the air. As a matter of fact, that's probably her.
Good timing.
And you see a large bird of prey begin to circle the camp. I want to wait for Austin to get back because this character is probably going to be of interest to Jangatal.
Yeah, go to Neverland.
Yeah.
He can get the retro description when he gets back.
But this large bird of prey begins to circle and slowly make a descending loop around the camp as it begins to make its way
What kind
down.
of bird is it? Just some kind of a hawk or a falcon or something? Or
It looks like some kind of hawk. Rolling perception check.
10.
Some kind of hawk.
I'm good at physical things and intimidating people.
18.
Looking at stuff I'm not so good at.
18. The two of you notice that. Oh, here comes a dog.
You're wet. You're wet.
Yeah,
It's raining.
dog and it was raining.
That was a good idea. Getting the dog in.
Not so good leaving the door open, but
But
definitely
anyway,
good idea to get the dog in.
Well, I had to come back downstairs anyway. So.
Yeah. There's a giant bird coming down.
What kind of bird?
Rolling perception.
just roll perception.
What's out? Sure as a bird.
That's what I
Perception
said.
is a 12.
Yeah, so the two of you notice it doesn't look like some kind of large hawk. The thing that tips you off about it, its feathers, its plumage is sort of a blue-green, with like reddish tinges on individual pilot feathers. And as it continues to loop down and eventually lands right next to the fire, and there's this greenish light that swirls around it as its form swells and changes shape. And a few moments later, standing in its place is not a bird, but a troll. A troll woman, sort of bluish green, definitely a jungle troll, with sort of like bright, sort of fiery red hair with black streaks throughout it. With a very wild woman look. Her hair is very loose and free with occasional small braids, just like what could be grabbed with a hand and braided. And her outfit is very hides and leathers that are mostly just completely practical. She's got the air of a wild wanderer about her, and as she sort of stands up on her feet and straightens her back out, you can see these very large and protruding tusks. As she looks around at the group, and sort of inspects everyone, all the new arrivals, before she looks over at Traga. I'll be back from my scouting, and I see, well, there be plenty of new cages set up. They definitely took more prisoners than they put in the ground.
Question. What do I know about what Twilight Hammer cultists might want with prisoners?
I'm trying to think what kind of ability check that would be.
Religion?
Either religion or
Love
insight.
Can I roll for that too?
Sure.
17.
Insight or religion?
Religion.
Religion? Okay.
I'm better with insight, so 21.
21. You don't know much about the Twilight's Hammer, but typically speaking, prisoners have some form of purpose. And if this seems to be a military camp, they might have a practical purpose, maybe gathering information from them, maybe trying to convert them into more soldiers so they can convince them to join their side. Maybe some kind of sacrifice if they need to do some more magic. For religion. The Twilight's Hammer are definitely big on sacrifice, but they're also big on corrupting and twisting people to their side to bolster their ranks. So odds are good that this is like a 50-50 chance of either you break in service or you don't break and we use you for a ritual.
How long have they had them?
Well, the last assault that went bad was a few days ago, if I'm not mistaken, Traga.
The Twilight Hammer enjoys two things most of all with the prisoners. Corrupting them, turning them to their goal and to their aim. And if that fails, using them to fuel demonic magics.
Man.
If we're to save them,
It's going to have to be soon.
then it needs to be soon, yes. Otherwise, some of them may already have been turned.
Well, what you gonna do?
Would I have any kind of bearing over how long that kind of process might take?
I mean, depending on the will of the individual, it could take days. It could take weeks if they're really determined to get something out of this person.
But if it started taking months, then
they'd probably start just dealing with them. If it was someone particularly valuable, they might go that extra length of time. Like if it was someone they knew had information they needed, they might go that extra length. But eventually, it's just sort of like, well, this isn't paying out, so you're more useful as magic fuel.
If we rested now, would we be able to get up before the sun rises?
Probably. The sun just set a few hours ago.
We should rest now and set out as soon as we rise. See if we can't ascertain any more information about their cages and get any of them free.
Makes sense.
It shouldn't be a very long rest.
As long as we need, but no longer.
Could you perhaps provide us some amount of information on what happened or where this battle was? If we know where the major...
The troll's going to pull out his map and lay it out in front of this bird woman.
Yeah, where the major areas of casualties were, perhaps we
Then
could...
pull out a
better
bag full of
pinpoint where to
teeth and
go.
knuckle bones and claws.
The troll sort of reaches out and takes the bag. Thank you, little one, she says, as she sort of begins to pull out teeth and starts to lay them out across the area as she sort of counts the major concentrations. She uses larger teeth to represent more numerous groupings. And she kind of lays them out across the map, and she basically lays out what looks to be the camp is sort of protected by a natural hill where there's only like the sides of the hill on either the north or the east side are the only real places where it's feasible to walk up the hill. Otherwise you'd have to climb and make yourself, defenseless. But she does know that at the bottom of the hill there's another outpost, that's sort of like a scouting post. But the heaviest concentrations are close around the base of the tower. And there's the numbers sort of thin out as you get further out away. And she uses, aside from the teeth, she takes the knuckle bones to represent the prisoners, and she sort of peppers them about. It looks like there are heavy concentrations of teeth that she sets in the dirt inverted to symbolize magic users, and she says that most of the prisoners seem to be centered around where areas of magical practice are being performed. Whether the magicians are better at breaking or whether they're going to use them for rituals, they seem to be kept near the spellcasters. Where most of the traditional cultists are just sort of patrolling the area and keeping an eye out. And the orc woman Traga kind of looks over. Well, Zura, do you have any recommendations for a small task force trying to get through? The troll kind of looks down at the map. Well, if I was going to guess, I'd say your best bet come from an angle they don't expect. The east and north sides are well patrolled. It's where a force would have to come through. But if you're good at climbing, the central outpost down the bottom of the hill got some of the lightest complement of defenders, mostly just a scouting position to keep an eye out for large armies coming round the sides. You sneak through, kill them all that get in your way, or just sneak past them, whichever works. Make your way up the hill without being noticed. Slide on in past the bulk of their guard. Not gonna be easy, but a smaller force do it easier than an army.
If we can get towards where they're holding the captives, as Cho'Gall is the example, these spellcasters tend to lead in the Twilight Hammer. Killing them will, in addition to freeing our prisoners, will also not necessarily break the morale of their forces, but lead them more into disarray than it would otherwise.
The Twilight Hammer be crazy. Don't expect them to follow traditional rules, but that'd be a good basis.
I think we're fairly effective at climbing. With a small grin, because we did climb into a harpy's nest at one point.
That's true. A long time ago.
A long time ago.
I got up there the easy way.
The troll's going to look at the orc, knowing that the troll and the orc and the big orc are the only two people who are any good at climbing, and pop his head slightly.
But aside from that, the other Twilight's activity in the area be north, she says as she pulls the map aside and marks and just takes a stone off of the ground and sets it on an area in the north. They woke something up over there. A cancerous growth rises from the ground. Tentacles spring forth. A fanged maw opens up from the earth. Something ancient lives there. Something that whispers in the mind, drawing those that spend too long to madness.
So we avoid that direction.
I say we get a flying machine and bomb it.
The base that we're trying to rescue people
No.
from, or the
No,
giant tentacle
that
thing?
big monster thing. We'll deal with that later.
No. Was that indicated as what they're here for, or?
That was just something activity that she had noted to the north.
That is concerning, but not our immediate objective.
I think the Alliance got more to worry about that one. Tundamar be between them and us. That's the Alliance base.
We'll leave that to them then. Unless they ask for help.
The oh so noble alliance tend not to ask for help.
Whatever.
Let's rest.
Well,
Prepare.
How long do you all need to rest?
You need to rest as well.
I'm fine. How long do you all need to rest?
Shauna,
6
I
hours.
know your brother is in danger, but he will not be saved any faster if you are tired.
6
And I will
hours.
need you to gut any mage between us and him.
I will.
You will need your full strength for that.
I will be fine.
Rest. We will get there as soon as we can. Let's rest. And I'm going to work on my chain some more. Actually, I'm going to talk to the druid while I'm working on it. And I didn't catch her name.
Zura, they call me Zura the Wanderer.
Garrett Cloud Speaker. I'm working on repurposing something, and I'm wondering if you could aid me.
What you need?
I pull out what was at one point an abomination's claw, which has now been much more jaggedly modified and shrunk to be more of an orcish hook
Mm.
than the traditional meat hook that it was previously.
Mhm.
While I can speak with the spirits of nature, I have no power to coax them into enchanting. Would you perhaps be able to aid me in this?
What should you want this thing to do?
I feel spirits of wind to help guide it on its course and return it to its thrower would be most useful.
You could go that way. But for that, you'd be wanting a shaman. I speak to the spirits of nature. The wind not be quite so much my call, unless it be just the wind of the earth. The spirits, they be their own. I speak to the primal winds. The lower Gonk and Paku, they listen, but, well, not be my field to ask them to bless items. Perhaps you take it to a mage for more. She kind of, it's a hand gesture of like, I don't know how to phrase it. It's sort of hocus pocus style magic. Or you speak to a shaman, more interested in the spirits, but that'd be outside of my field just a bit.
Is there anything you could do to aid?
There might be, but it'd take time.
How much time?
That'd be a process to measure in weeks, not days.
Well, thank you for your input. I'm going to go and continue to sharpen the other one then. And see if I can get two, because these will be very helpful in climbing if we need them.
My guess be, when you find a place to settle down, then you find someone you're there. When you find a place you're gonna be for a while,
Thank you.
or a place you're gonna come back to.
I appreciate the info.
I don't tend to stay nowhere long.
Fair enough. I don't make any progress.
Roll me an insight check.
Me? Sure. 18.
You notice that while she's having this conversation, she seems vaguely distracted. And you notice that as she's having this conversation, her gaze keeps sort of flittering back to Jangatal.
I'll look over at what Jangatal's doing.
Probably.
Face down on the ground, sleeping.
I mean, are there any dragons here? I heard mention of dragons.
Not immediately present. You do notice that there are several black dragon heads that have been mounted on spikes as sort of a deterrent.
He's probably investigating those, trying to check the anatomy. Like, do they still have teeth and usable parts in them?
Some, yeah, they still have some teeth, but a lot of them are damaged. Like these are heads that have been left as warnings, so showing how dangerous they were seems to be sort of important.
Checking out the
Yeah.
dragon heads.
Look over to Tal. Look back. Does our companion catch your eye?
What? Oh yeah.
Does our companion catch your eye?
He's a strange one, that one.
How long have we been as a group together now?
Just over a year.
I've known Jangatal for a year. Slightly more.
You've probably known him for a couple of years because you also spent a year
That's
in the
fair,
Valley of
that's fair.
Trials.
Yeah.
I've known Jangatal for a few years. He does not speak.
He wouldn't, would he?
No. as Garrett continues with the yes, what I just said is correct.
She kind of shrugs and. If you have anything else for me?
No. Thank you for your time.
Well, spirits be with you.
And also with you. As we still don't know what the correct back to that would be.
I mean, that's mostly correct, honestly. As it turns out, and may the force be with you. You
And
can
also
replace
with you.
the force with anything,
May the fill in the blank be with you.
And
and also with you,
May the Coca-Cola be with you.
and also with you.
Wait, are we starting a soda-based cult here?
potentially.
I mean, we're near Atlanta.
I was about to say.
Pilgrimage to the world of Coke
I
every
know
year.
some people who are.
We just pilgrimage to the world of Coke every year. Anyways,
It's a 30-minute drive. It's not much of a pilgrimage.
no one said pilgrimages have to be long. It's just that they have to have an end in mind.
Anyone have anything else they need to accomplish before we take a long rest?
I'm just working on my chain. It's not getting very far.
I do have a plan that I've thought up for a tech device that I may need
Okay.
Josh's help with.
Is it a baby carrier for Garrett's back so that the weaker of the party can just ride on him as he climbs?
I mean, that's not actually what I was thinking, but
That might be useful.
I was thinking of a spell casting device so that basically I can conserve spell slots that I want to use for healing. So
right.
basically,
A heal gun.
specifically, actually, I was thinking of a because if I used a heal gun, it probably wouldn't have all my crazy awesome class benefits to it. So I was thinking like modifying my staff so that I can cast blindness or deafness with it, so that I can have a combat spell that doesn't use spell slots, so I can still heal things.
Mhm.
Because currently the only thing that keeps me from using it is the fact that it uses spell slots that could be used for
You're wanting to enchant your staff.
techno enchant it.
Yeah.
Adding
Well,
complexity. All right.
What's your engineering
That never
skill?
fails.
Adding a chance to malfunction.
Yeah, adding malfunction
Yeah,
chance
yeah.
to it.
Right. Can you do you have a what's your engineering?
My engineering is
Though I guess that would also reduce the time it would take to do it.
Yeah,
It'd be-
like
8.
you can work a lot
Oh,
faster on a
plus
tech
'Cause
device
I
than you
have
can on an
expertise in
enchanted.
engineering.
Oh, okay.
'Cause I took the whatever.
I think
it
it's
is.
not actually blindness or deafness. It's literally just like a squid's ink bag. He just.
I mean, no, I was thinking something more so along the lines of the Men in Black little flashy stick.
Did you flashy thing me?
Except it's a staff. But close enough.
All right. Blindness deafness is a second level spell,
Second level.
so it'd be a tech score 4.
Mm-hmm.
Apply formula.
That's what we're trying to do.
So yeah, how repeatable would you want that to be?
What do you mean?
Like, how often would you want to be able to use that?
All the
Until the-
time,
until
twice
the
a
battle-
day, 3
until the-
times a day,
Until the battle's over.
Yeah, that's
once
like,
a day.
Would you want it to, like the traditional fuel source is a vial of phlogiston, a number of vials of phlogiston equal to the spell level every time you want to cast it. So do you want to be able to fuel it with phlogiston? Do you want it to have a set number of charges that it can regenerate? You want it to be able to use once or twice,
I
or
mean, having charges wouldn't be a problem for me. Like being able to use it maybe once or twice per day.
yeah. So, going about twice a day. Sort of spitball this just off the top of my head. I'm looking for a second level spell. It'd probably
You can also
be
work on the armor while we rest.
Yeah, no. Shauna's not
For-
really in the mood to do anything.
materials.
Yes.
Materials and enchantment. You'd probably be looking at about for repeatable every couple of days. You'd probably be looking at about
Out of a
500 or 600 gold worth of materials. Probably closer to 600. But then, if you're doing it as just like twice a day without the need of phlogiston, that would probably be repeatable. Although it would still have a chance of malfunctioning every time you try and cast a spell.
Yeah, yeah.
And you come over top and just into the face.
Mm-hmm. But it would still be approximately the same cost to build that.
Yeah. It's just with phlogiston you can cast it more often. It's just you would also need to have a lot of phlogiston on hand.
Yeah, yeah. Because it'd be nice to be able to get an extra casting off like once or twice per fight, but I'm building this so that I have an extra spell slot or two to work with, so I don't have to worry about consuming healing spells. Not so I can cast the spell 20 times in a row.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Just a couple of times a day.
people do work and rest.
Yep. Right. So, as I knock my glasses off. And also, the malfunction reading would be relative. But yeah.
Because does it increase by the spell level or twice the spell level? I forget.
The malfunction rating increases by the level of the spell you cast, and that's after you do the calculations for price.
Yes.
So if you set the malfunction rating high to cheapen the price, it goes even higher after that.
Yeah.
So if you set it at 18 and then put a 20th level spell in it, the malfunction rating's on 20.
Well, malfunction rating only goes as high as 5. So if you set a malfunction rating of 5 and then put a second and put a 9th level spell on it, you're looking at a malfunction of 14.
No, because what you do is you cobble it, which would double the malfunction rate, and you have a malfunction rate of 19. So you can only get it to work properly
On a natural 20.
Ouch. Now
I mean,
that's goblin tech.
What you do, you buy and then you sell that to your enemy, and you
And
make
then
it so that
turn around.
and you lock in the malfunction. You lock in the malfunction as the nuclear blast.
I don't want a 5% chance of them pulling off a wish spell.
As I say, 5% chance they actually
Well, no,
manage to meet your
you just
storm.
tell them it's a wish spell. It's not a wish spell.
It's still a 9th level spell. That could be Meteor Storm.
I mean, it could be a wish spell. You're not technically lying. It's like, that's not a deception check. Here, this will cast wish on your enemies. And
I
then
wish
they're
that my enemies were filthy rich.
It's like do you really want to risk the 5% chance that they successfully cast Meteor Storm?
Yes, if it's a nuclear blast in response, yes.
Everybody spread out.
Also, I think it'd be really difficult to be able to cast 9th level spells as a Techno Mage. You have to be in the epic levels for that.
Yes.
I mean, I wasn't saying this is going to be easy.
It's fine to get-
Or inexpensive.
You get someone else to cast it for you. That's it. Find that mage. Anyways, we wake up. It's still dark.
Yeah, it's still, you've got a couple hours before sunrise.
Soaring Fang. Let's go.
So,
We are intending to take whatever that climbing route was.
yeah. So, as you make your way, sort of avoiding any signs of civilization or enemies that might be in the way.
As we go, I'm leaving the Sashimono in the cart. And as we're walking, though, I'm going to be taking my chain hooks, and I want to basically lace them into my armor so that they work as a support, and the chain hooks themselves just sort of dangle off my wrists.
Mhm.
Specifically so that I can use them to climb easier.
Hmm.
And also, that way I have mounting on my back for those two
Hmm.
to hold on to.
Shiana can climb.
Is
She's
climbing
done it before.
Yeah, I know.
athletics?
But if you're mounted on my
Climbing would be
back,
athletics. Yeah.
acrobatics?
if you're
Climbing,
mount-
climbing would be athletics. Trying to maneuver around difficult terrain would be acrobatics.
and he'll explain this as well.
Okay.
If you're holding on to me, when I get to the top, you can lunge up and kill any guards patrolling the cliffside
Okay.
much easier than while I'm getting myself up over the cliff. And Jean Gatal can also do that just by himself. So the two of you can be ready to pounce while I'm still getting up over the edge. And Josh, I have no doubt, can get himself up. He probably has boots that just extend.
Well, if I take my
Boots that extend like
Suit?
500 feet up.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Josh's ultimate pogo boots. Wait, sorry, ultimate bogo boots. Wait, fuck, wrong one.
Ultimate buy one get one boots.
Yes.
buy one get one. That'd be half price for the pair. Okay.
No, yeah, you buy one boot and you get the other one when you buy it. It's a goblin invention. These are my ultimate bogo boots.
That is brilliant.
Oh, I really want to make a goblin tinker and just make stupid shit like that to sell. I've got pogo boots and I've got bogo boots. Let me tell you, the bogo boots are cheaper than the pogo boots.
You gotta buy the pogo boots individually.
Yeah, you do. One at a time.
20
But-
gold for that boot, 20 gold for that boot. For the pogo boots, you pay 20 gold to get both of them.
Yeah. What do they do? Well, that's for you to find out.
Here, have the boot.
I just want to see 20 gold for that one, 30 for that one.
20 for the left, 30 for the right, because most people lead with the right foot.
And you know, I figured it costs more to make it because you know the right one's longer.
Yeah. If you only want one boot, please, go ahead. Boing.
two left boots.
Oh, I'm sorry. You want the right and the left foot. Oh, I'm sorry. The right foot's 40. Like I said, most people lead with their right.
Then you just get a pirate walking up, buys the one boot, and gets an extended peg leg.
Hey, we do custom work. You want a pogo peg leg, that's 50. It's specialty work. I can't use the mold.
I mean, wouldn't you just be able to replace
No.
the peg leg with a pogo stick?
It's specialty work. I can't use the mold.
Right. Okay.
It doesn't matter how easy it is.
No.
It's specialty work. I can't use the mold. That's my goblin's go-to line, by the way.
So you
It's shocking how often that's used, though, in actual corporate business.
For when we have this all tinker party that we need to make.
so
Okay.
you do your best to avoid any of the wild animals and the other creatures of the area. And
When Garrick dies, it's just that goblin coming in.
the
Like the moment he dies.
Yeah, exactly. Look, it's an orc, half off.
holy fuck. Oh.
The goblin's name is Gypsum Better, by the way. Gypsum Better at your service. Just call me Jip.
I'll bring back Wrenchum Nuts.
Luncheon Nuts and Gypsum Better.
Oh no.
When are we doing the all-known one-shot, by the way?
I'll tinker. We need
I'll-
goblins.
I'll
I meant to say tinker. I'm sorry. I'm thinking my gnome. You can bring your goblins. You can be the abomination tinker.
Yes. No, he won't let me do it.
Undead tinker.
It was a
Jeez.
good idea, but I couldn't get it to work out.
Too many creature class levels.
They do have to have like 18 creature classes.
Yeah, they have like 16 or 18 creature class
I thought
levels.
they had 21. I thought they were one of the ones where
No,
you just literally...
that's mountain giants.
Mountain giant. Okay.
So, you as you make your way, you begin to see areas where the land, as you get closer to the spire, the ground around it begins to change. It's a slow effect from the scorched black area around Blood Gulch to the much more vibrant and green plant life outside of it, and then it slowly starts to turn brown, and then gray, and then dies and is gone altogether, and you're left with dark gray rock, and then as it gets closer to the spire, it almost begins to turn purplish, as if something is suffusing the rock and changing its very nature, as it becomes unnaturally shaped. The rock is unusually smooth, and the shapes are just wrong. They're not natural rock formations. They're vaguely non-Euclidean and just slightly off, as everything just seems to be... It's hard to put words to it, but it's just wrong.
Corrupted.
Yes,
Would be the word.
that's probably the best word you got for it, as this corruption seems to set into the earth itself, as everything around here is just bad.
Why is it that if you Google non-Euclidean, it comes up people like Euclid, Carl Friedrich Gauss, and H.P. Lovecraft? I mean, I get that in this instance it's because you're describing Lovecraftian horror, but on the whole, I wouldn't think that'd be a Google recommendation, unless it knows.
It knows.
It knows, apparently.
What does it knows?
Google knows everything.
Google knows quite a lot.
The way you said that, with the creepy hood, and the way you turned your head very, very precisely.
Where are the carry weights in the player's handbook?
It's in the beginning of the equipment section is encumbrance.
I think if she's literally a fifth your weight, you're good.
You're probably fine, yeah.
I'm pretty certain I've got an 18 strength, so I'm pretty certain I can carry both of them. I'm just checking.
Yeah, and but and as you look, you can see, yeah, there's this sort of semicircular cliff face that marks the rise that leads to the very base of this massive spiral tower. And there are two earth ramps that sort of narrow and create sort of a funnel for any large groups of soldiers that might be trying to climb the rise. But at the same time, as you look down at the base of this sort of 40-50 foot tall rock face, there is a small encampment in the center of this crescent. It's got maybe 3 buildings to it, and from what you can see, there aren't that many figures moving around down there. It's definitely sort of like a scouting post.
So is this below us or above us?
It's rising.
Right, so we're going up.
Yeah, you're heading up.
Okay.
What sort of messenger system do they
Okay.
seem to have?
Strength score multiplied by 15.
You don't see much, although there is there's a tower near the back of that scouting camp, which you can only assume has a signal horn or something.
Okay, so I'm going to poke an ally, point at the top of the tower, and then
Since
Indicate you.
you can climb.
Yeah. So
Or
John Gatal's
snake.
going to go kill
I'm
him.
going to go see if I can sneak into that tower. Sneak around the back and then climb up the tower. Quick clarification, how tall is this tower?
It's probably 15 feet.
Is that tower above us still?
Yeah.
We have to climb up to the tower and then climb up it.
Yeah, it's above you, and it's a rising
Yeah,
slope
rising
landscape.
Oh, so we're not actually like.
Yeah, you're not
No,
climbing
we're
yet.
not climbing yet.
Yeah.
We got to get rid of these
Yeah.
guys before.
So
we
if
go
I can
up.
get into the tower and prevent them from sending signal, then you guys can come in from the front and prevent
Prevent anything.
prevent things from leaving.
Yes.
And Snake Friend, if they have messenger pigeons or something, can patrol the skies.
So if you all want to roll me stealth checks just for your approach.
I have disadvantage on that.
I'm
Everybody has
definitely going
terrible
ahead.
stealth, right?
Because
No,
I want to get
I have terrible stealth.
because
Well,
I will
if I'm in my
signal-
steam suit, I have.
Yeah, you have disadvantage on stealth. You're
I
you're in
will
the same
signal
suit.
them from the
Not bad.
tower when, or they might even figure out when they should be
I
charging.
should be moving in last.
14.
Not bad.
6 and I don't have any. Okay, so it's 8. 8.
What's the agility of the steam suit?
Actually, it only has a strength thing. It doesn't have the agility.
Uh,
Oh no, yeah, it's 10.
Yeah, we're Jangatal's approaching
it's a-
first, so
I get a +1
that
on
is
that.
relevant.
So it'd be a 7.
7.
Yeah.
23.
23. Yeah. Okay. This is not the stealthy party. There's only 2
No.
of you that are sneaking.
30.
Yeah, that makes
I
sense.
can easily stealth, but not with my
When
suit.
I actually roll
yeah.
something that isn't a 1,
Yeah.
I can stealth.
So.
I rolled a 14. That's the best I've ever rolled.
Yeah.
Stealth.
I rolled a 14 too.
I didn't. I had to roll a disadvantage. Okay. I rolled an 18 and a 14.
What would you describe this terrain as? If you-
Badlands.
would that qualify in the desert? Because there's not a Badlands category.
I would say that's about as close to desert as you're going to find. This
Cool. Because desert is one of my 2 favorite terrains.
good. Yeah, I would say this applies.
Badlands is a combination of desert and mountain.
Yeah, because I'm jungle and desert.
Yeah.
You got the 2 extremes.
Yeah, I would say that desert would apply here.
Cool.
It's a weird desert, but it's sort of in the middle of a highlands.
Yeah.
What if he and I went from a different angle than those 2, so that they could?
Well, I mean,
you know,
he's
just-
going in first, regardless.
I'm going in
Right.
first. I think if you've boxed your check, you've already.
Well, no, but I mean, yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
But planning.
So, well, I mean, let's see what the eyes and ears look like.
Well, because I'm going in first, hopefully I'll be in the tower, and then
Yeah.
And you're snake.
I will signal, or it'll be obvious.
Badlands are a dual land. Tap for either red or black.
They're also really expensive.
Yeah, because they're lands that aren't like that come in tapped dual lands.
Yeah, they're real good.
And also count as basic. Do they count as basic lands?
No, they're not basic lands, but they have both basic land types, which means they're
Yeah.
fetchable by things that fetch.
Yeah.
Mountains and
Mountains
and
swamps. Yeah, they're a mountain swamp.
They're shock lands that don't shock you.
Yeah.
So, as you approach, you make your way through, and you are fairly confident that you are able to slide right between the different guards. There's only like 5 or 6 that you can see that you notice around the area.
Hoping Jangatal kills that lookout before we get spotted by the other people who won't be able to signal us easily.
So Badlands go for about $300.
It's a lot
For a land.
for our land. Yeah.
Lands tend to be the most expensive because they got the most decks. Regardless, I get to the base of the tower. Is it a wood tower?
Yeah, it's wooden. It's a wooden construction.
All right.
They're like metal reinforcements to give it extra sturdiness, but it's mostly wood.
I'm not going to be able to sneak up the middle of this, so I'm probably going to climb up the outside of it, or could I just go up the middle of it?
You could climb up the center of the ladder, but you don't like. That's just like if anyone who's in the tower looks down, it's a clear shot.
What about if I climb the outside?
You climb the outside, you'd be visible to anyone who's on that side, but the other 3 sides, you'd probably be.
And there's
relatively
probably
good.
no one on the side facing the mountain, I would assume.
Facing the cliff face, probably
That's
not.
probably not where you said look out.
Yeah, probably not.
We'll climb up that side.
All right, roll me athletics.
Okay, that's a mediocre roll. Slightly above average. And I'm decent at athletics. So, 18.
Nice. Yeah, so you rolled high enough that I'm not going to ask you to reroll your stealth. You managed to maintain your stealth through that. So you climb the tower, and as you reach the top, as you sort of crest over the guardrail that's designed to keep the person in the tower from falling out of it. It's only about 15 feet, but still, that would hurt.
I mean, it's a d6 damage. No one wants to take a d6 if they don't have to.
Yeah.
It's a D6 and a half.
The
Which half?
The falling
lower
half.
The falling half.
you can see the guard standing on the opposite side is looks like a human.
Mm-hmm.
He's got these sort of like black and purple robes that seem definitely very cultish.
Oh, they put the guy that can't see in the dark on watch at night. That's silly.
Well, he doesn't have to see in the dark. He just has to get the signal from someone else to sound the horn.
Where's the signal?
There's a horn that is set off to his left. Like he can just sort of, if he gets the signal from someone, he can just reach over to his left and blow into the horn.
Use it to bludgeon him to death. Blow on this.
And he's facing away. He's looking down at the camp. So if one of the scouts in the camp says, "Hey, blow the horn," he can just be like, "Okay," you know.
What's the horn look like?
It's this sort of like clearly made of bone, and it's this sort of like a lot of like elvish horns are very fancy and like have like the curve in the middle because they want to for whatever reason. But this one is just a very straightforward, very blunt sort of like you got a narrow taper with a metal cap, opens up into an open horn with a metal rim, and it's a very simple and not very ornate horn.
Does it look like it would work without that metal cap?
Probably, it just probably wouldn't resonate as much, but it would probably still make a good noise. It might not carry as far, but
That doesn't sound very stealthy.
I mean, he wouldn't be able to blow the horn. That's the thing we're
I
concerned about.
mean, just take everything out here and just so I can't wind.
How far of a distance is it up to the top of this cliff?
to the top of the cliff, it's probably about a 50 foot from like ground level. It's probably about 50 foot.
So they could hear the sounds of combat and stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, if it was notable combat, they could probably hear it.
And second question, can I sneak up behind this person and gag them
You can try.
with a kind of grapple style?
Yeah, you can try.
While Snack Friend bites the snickerdoodles out of them.
Yeah.
Alright. I'm gonna grapple the ponies out of this person. Actually, if you're in a cult, you probably don't have great wisdom, right?
Depending.
That depends.
Depends.
That's why it's called spirit in Warcraft, is because it's not necessarily how wise you are; it's your connection to the areas around you. It depends. If you're the follower, maybe not. If you're one of the magicians, maybe.
This person is probably not a magician.
Probably not.
If you're on the lookout, though.
If you're on lookout.
But he's specifically not on lookout. He's the guy receiving the signal.
Part of the lookout system.
I'm going to tap my my paralyzation poison to my knife.
Okay.
And my snake friend is going to coil himself around the horn. So if anyone tries to blow it,
Just bite.
it's just like, no. It's a snake.
There's just a snake there. Instead.
Question, how wide is the opening of this horn?
He couldn't fit in the mouth part, but he could fit in the other
He could
end.
put his tail in the mouth part, though.
And you could
He could
plug it.
Yeah, you could plug it with his tail.
That would work, right?
Yeah, theoretically.
Sure.
It would certainly dampen it, if nothing else.
Snack friend's on horn duty. Blow the horn. Why did it make no noise?
Snake.
All right.
Face.
So Snack friend's got the horn just in case it doesn't work. Yeah, we're gonna paralyze it, dude.
What are you using?
Dagger.
The dagger.
The Skinner.
All right, cool.
I need to roll for the day for what my Skinner effect is. Cool. I'll check that in a
Does
minute.
he get advantage for sneak attacks?
I mean, he's definitely unaware of me.
He's definitely unaware of you, so you definitely have advantage on the attack roll.
18.
That definitely hits.
He takes a non-zero amount of damage, which is 6 damage.
Okay.
And he has to make me a spirit save.
What's the DC?
13.
He rolled a 7 on the die, and he has no modifier.
He's paralyzed.
He is paralyzed.
Guessed correctly.
As you sort of sneak up behind him, as he's just sort of like leaning on the side of this rail, just sort of seeming almost vaguely bored as he's just sort of standing around and waiting. You just sort of sneak up and pull the knife out of your belt and dip it into one of your sting vials and just very faintly reach up, place a hand on his shoulder, and dig the knife into his neck with the other end. And you feel his body go and just stop.
How sturdy does he seem?
That knife blow seemed like it hurt him real bad. He's not doing so hot.
All right, pull him back away from the edge.
Put him on the floor. And
You use the rest of this round to gag and bind him, and then
just
I just want to make sure.
gag and bind, then shank to
And
death.
then throat slit.
Yeah, nice.
Is it considered?
You have advantage because he's paralyzed, and
It's an auto crit.
if you hit him, it automatically crits.
Cool. 20.
Yeah, his armor class was 12.
And this time I've got the big spear out
Was.
because, I don't need to be accurate with the skinner anymore.
Yeah, so you auto crit him, which will probably kill him.
8, 11, 15 damage.
Yeah, so you jam him with the knife, and as he's paralyzed, you sort of pull him back and put the knife away and pull the spear off your back, and just very casually press your hand onto the front of his torso and press the tip of the knife against his back, and then just press them together, and the knife just sort of slides between his spear. Sorry.
Just goes up through the man.
Just like slides between his ribs and out the front as his breath just leaves him quietly.
Pull that out. Look down into the encampment. From up here, how many people can I see?
About 4, maybe 5. While you're doing that,
I'm assuming the rest of the
the
people.
rest of you, go ahead and make me perception checks.
3.
17. It's probably the highest I've ever had.
13.
23.
That was really good. You're not surprised.
She's also the one who was invisible.
So as you, as the group of you are sort of waiting for the signal, Shiana, you hear like the faintest rustling in what little grass is around you, as
Killer Bunny.
as
I hope it's a killer bunny.
as 4 figures just sort of
killer bunnies is a lot.
as 4 figures sort of emerge out from what little cover there was behind rocks, just out of dead trees. Just some of them just seem to appear out of the ground, just like out of a cloud of smoke. As these 4 figures in black leathers with their faces hidden appear, drawing weapons, and we're gonna have a surprise round. You're the only one that gets to act in.
Okay.
As we roll initiative real quick.
I need to show you what I just rolled on Finkel Skinner for today.
Nice. You wouldn't have made that. You wouldn't have needed to make that athletic check if you'd done that earlier.
Yeah, if I'd realized it.
Do I need to roll?
What'd you get on the Skinner? Yeah, go ahead and roll.
Lucky.
I got a
Monkey.
23.
23? Okay.
18.
23 is Shiana.
My dexterity is 10.
You would go before them, but you're surprised.
That's fine. Bring them to me. I have to move less if they go first.
Oh, goody. 6.
6.
6. Yep.
And what do you have, Leaf?
Initiative.
For initiative?
Yeah.
18.
Hey,
you
me
go.
too.
Yeah,
Nice.
we'll let them go first.
Your dex is higher.
My dex is 10.
Oh, my dex is 10.
You both get to go at the same time.
My text is so not 10.
No.
I'm not even going to bother. I'm just going to write.
Multiply.
I'm just going to make that Garrick and Leaf.
I don't have any stats that are a 10, I don't think.
I have
No,
3 stats
I
that are a
was
10.
So, Shiana, you get to go as you see these 4 figures.
Okay. Am I able to sneak attack or backstab them?
No, they are the ones that have the advantage here.
But I can hurt them.
Yes, you can attack.
Okay, I'll just go through the closest one.
Alright.
Now that was a 1 on the die.
Why?
Because the die hates me.
Yeah, so you rush up and you bring your claw around to try and snake in and strike this, and you realize as you get closer that it's an orc woman, and she pulls a scimitar out of her belt and just scrapes across the claws and deflects them off to the side.
Their turn.
It's their turn, and the other three, which is 2 more orcs and a human.
See, the Twilight's hammer gets orcs and humans to work together.
To end the world, yes.
At the behest of demons and black orcs.
But unity!
Wonderful.
Yeah, no.
Specifically
I'm
not demons,
vouch
actually.
for him.
They don't do with demons.
Don't they?
Nope. Twilight Hammer does not work with demons.
Horrors?
They work with eldritch horrors. They work.
As evidenced by the Lovecraftian horror that
Sorry.
Troll described.
Old gods. My bad.
Yeah, they work with old gods. Old gods and demons don't get along.
I mean, you know, if you're gonna have an infestation of one or the other.
So first, one of the orc males is going to go after you. What's your armor class?
19.
19?
Yep.
Okay. Well, that says 19 on the. Oh, it's an 18 on the die, but still. So that's going to be a 23 to hit.
Okay.
And because you're surprised, it is a critical hit.
Okay.
Okay, 27 points of slashing damage to you.
It's an assassin.
And then I'm going to make a second attack.
27, you said?
Yep. So, 21 to hit. It's going to be another. That's ow. 21 damage on the second hit.
Okay.
And then one of them's going after Leaf. Okay, 1 on each of you. That one is a 15 to hit.
Yep.
Okay.
And they roll low to hit you. High to hit me.
That's going to be 10, 16, 17, 18, 21 damage to Leaf on the first hit. And then 19 to hit you.
You can take less hits than me.
How many hit points do you have?
76.
56.
10, 20.
Yeah, they dropped me from
24,
76 to 28 in 2 hits.
And 27 damage on the second hit.
That's right. In 3-5, you had a ton of hit points, if I recall. A lot of hit points. And very good saving throws.
Mm-hmm.
Are you
And
still up?
one going on you.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I'm still up.
15.
AC 15. It's definitely a hit. But this is going to your suit before it hits you though. So
Right, yeah.
it's 22, 25 slashing damage to the suit.
Okay.
And then yes, definitely also a hit. 10, 16, 17, 18, 21 slashing damage on the second hit. And then you're not surprised, so they just get regular attacks on you.
Okay.
That's a 15 to hit.
No, that is not him.
Okay.
You're the only one they've missed.
Second attack. Well, she's also the only one who's aware. 17 to hit.
That's my armor class.
Okay, so that hits. It's good that wasn't a crit, because that was more 6s than usual. 6, 12, 16, 19 slashing damage to you.
Yeah.
Wow.
They still did almost as much damage to you on one non-crit as they did to me on a crit.
And it's not even a sneak attack. I thought they were sneak attacking.
No.
That's just their.
So they just have the assassin feature then?
They do have the assassin feature they have, technically for them it's called Slayer.
Interesting.
Because they're monsters
They
and
are
not.
NPCs.
Yeah,
not player characters.
they're NPCs.
Yes. Well, I mean, they have the ability what assassins have, so I assumed
Yes,
that meant they had some sort of sneak attack ability. Turns out they just hurt.
They just hit hard.
They just hit hard.
I'm using from Volo's guide.
Yeah.
These assassins are using the Fang of Shargas.
Yeah. Those are really good. The Volo's Guide orcs are really fun.
They're really cool. They're really
really
fun. That's why I'm using them.
Anyways,
And then we go back to the regular initiative. Shauna, you're up again.
flank and stab.
There we go. Okay. 23 to hit.
That definitely
Whoever's
hits.
closest.
That definitely hits.
Alright. I'm not rolling a d20 for damage. Can I steal a
And
d20?
you're attacking the one that attacked you?
Yeah.
Okay.
10 damage.
Yep. Okay. Then it brings it to Garrick and Leaf, both of you.
I'm going to shift.
How many people can I get in a 30-foot cone?
30-foot cone.
Yeah.
Enemies or allies?
Only enemies?
That's difficult because every ally has an enemy next to them right now.
How many? Okay.
Like if the four of you are in like a box formation, they're on the outside of that box, sort of in all four corners.
Though if
I'm shifting to flank the one that Shauna's fighting. If that gives me a attack.
That'll get you attack opportunity against
Yeah,
you. So
that's fine.
it's only going to be a 16 to hit.
That misses.
Yep.
so, does my situation change with his move, or
Then there's one who's by himself.
okay? So I still can't get like
Yeah,
even two.
they have the positional advantage right now.
All right.
Does a 20 hit?
Yes.
And my second. I'm just going to go ahead and roll my second attack because I'm assuming I won't kill him in one hit. That'll be that'll be a 19 to hit.
Yeah.
Okay. So first strike. Saving my spells for spellcasters.
Because while I'm still fleshing out the bestiary for my Warcraft conversion, I'm just using a lot
nice.
of the D&D monsters. and just
16
rescanning
slashing damage for the first hit,
them. Nice. 26 total.
and 2 less, so that's 14 slashing damage for the second.
6. 40. Okay.
I don't have any bonus actions. I don't think. Actually, no, because it's
So I want the sentence that's on me to go ahead and make a DC 14 Spirit saving throw.
Okay.
Against cause fear.
Well, that's a natural one.
Cool. So it is now frightened of me.
Okay. Does it have any special conditions, or is it just frightened?
Um.
Don't they run away for it?
Well, frightened has specific things. They have disadvantage on any attack rolls while they're within sight of you, and they can't move closer to you, but they don't have to move away from you.
Yeah, can't willingly move closer, and
I do have a bonus action.
disadvantage on ability checks and attack rolls.
I do
while
have.
the source appears within line of sight.
I use a bonus action to cast Healing Spirit.
That's a good idea.
So he takes that. He can make a saving throw at the end of his turns.
Okay.
But I'm also going to go ahead and cast Sanctuary on myself.
Okay.
I'm actually gonna have to cast Healing Spirit in the spot that I was moving to, just so I could get the effect.
Yeah.
Wait. Ooh.
So roll a d6 and
I need to
is
check.
it d6 plus your spirit or just a d6?
Just a d6.
Yeah. But it lasts for like a
It
full
lasts
minute.
for a minute.
Yeah.
I get 2 hit points back.
And ability check. Does that count for saving throws as
No,
well?
saving throws and not ability checks. There's 3 types of d20 rolls. There's attack rolls, there's ability checks, and there's saving throws.
All right.
And so that's what you guys have done on your turn. And that brings it to the Twilight Fangs. Is afraid of you. He's going to try and attack you, but has to make a wisdom save or not be able to.
Yep. DC 14.
That's only a 10, so can't attack you.
Cool.
Did he lose the attack or have to direct it to someone else?
There's no one nearby. He has to lose the attack.
And if he moves away from me, he can't move back in range.
Yeah, so he's sort of like, because of the angle he's at, he's sort of boxed away from everyone. Because like trying to get to anyone else would sort of be moving closer to you. So
Yeah.
it's like I have to stay basically in this corner that you've nailed me into.
Well, he could move around towards someone else.
Yeah, he could move adjacent to you, but
Yeah.
you know he's gonna try that actually. He's gonna try The only other person who'd be adjacent would be you. So they're going to try and close on you.
Opportunity attack?
Yes, you will get an opportunity attack as he moves away if you want to.
You hit him with your stick.
It's also me, because I'm over there now.
Yeah.
That is
And I'm on the
13.
outside, because I had to move to flank.
Just misses.
All right.
So he's going to move over and make a second attack against you.
But he still does have disadvantage because I'm within line.
Yes, because you're within line of sight. Well, the disadvantage makes it a natural 1. Disadvantage is a good mechanic.
It is.
Turns out, when you specialize entirely into spells that keep people from fighting, you're good at keeping people from fighting.
The one that you just left is going to try and catch up to you. He's going to try and flank you because you're flanking his friend.
Yeah.
So we'll make it good. That's a 19 to hit.
Yeah, that's exactly what I see.
And that's going to be 5, 11, 14 slashing damage.
Okay.
They're a lot less painful when they're not critically hitting you. And that's going to be 16, which misses on second attack. The one that's getting flanked is going to try and hit you twice. It's cocked.
And actually, now that I think about it, the attack of opportunity doesn't matter anyway because Sanctuary.
I
I don't want to.
you don't want to make the attack.
I don't
yeah.
want to get rid of that.
Yeah, so yeah, don't make the attack. Yeah. So it's 14 to hit.
No.
Misses. And well, that's a 23 to hit.
Yeah, that hits.
It's going to be 5, 11, 14 slashing damage.
Okay.
And then the one that's on you is going to try and hack through that suit.
Ting, 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 ting,
You
ting,
will.
ting, 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 ting.
That's a 14 to hit.
15.
Misses. Slices across and doesn't quite connect. It's a 19 on the dice. That's a 24 to hit.
Never hits. Any more than 4
19,
damage, you'll take that.
13 slashing damage.
Okay.
All right. So
There's a big gash in it, and it's going to come out of it.
you take the excess. So you take 9.
9.
It had 4 hit points left.
Yeah. The suit had 4 hit points.
Yeah. So you take 9
So
slashing
take
damage.
What's your suit breakdown now?
Well, yeah, the suit's broken down.
Yeah. It's inoperable at the moment.
Yeah.
He can repair it and get it running again, but
But yeah, not yet.
Ooh.
that's the
Does
Fang's
that
turn.
require a full tech check, or can you just heal it?
As long as he can
No,
repair
it's
it,
gotta be,
get
it's
it
got to be a
online.
repair. It's got to be.
Okay.
repair.
So I was just wondering if you could use a little whatever tech point feature. for
Yeah,
healing
he
it.
can use spot repair to get it online again
Oh, nice.
because it hasn't malfunctioned. It's just
Or I could
damaged.
too.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah,
Oh, so what?
it hasn't malfunctioned. It's just damaged, so you can spot repair it to get it back online. Because at the moment, it's basically
Yeah.
it's like a player character. It's at 0 hit points and taking death saves.
Okay.
Except it doesn't make death saves because it's an animate object. It
So if
doesn't
I
die
use-
on its own.
Um,
But if they took time to beat it to death while it was
Right, yeah.
disabled, they could break it harder. But
yeah.
Right now, the armor is just kind of getting in the way of it.
yeah,
Right now, it's a inoperable hunk of metal.
Yeah.
But like the engine's still running.
Whose
right now.
turn is it?
like the engine's still active. They could take time to break it thoroughly, but at the moment you just need to repair it to get it back online.
Whose turn is it?
Josh.
Okay. Would it take more than a little bit to get that?
Spot repair is an action, isn't it?
Yeah. Is it a single action with It uses like engineering points.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
can,
he uses one of your tech points.
Just one.
yeah. It restores a d6 per, it restores 1d8 hit points per tech point spent plus your intellect modifier.
Basically, it's cure wounds, but instead of spell slots.
Oh, okay.
It's
Right.
tech points. Yeah, it's cure wounds
So it's
using your
D8.
intellect for your machines.
Wonder what would be better.
I mean, I can spot repair it too.
Yeah, but you gotta deal with. I mean, we all have to.
I mean, I can spot repair you and then
Well, I mean,
use healing word or whatever to try to start healing people. But
I'm gonna go ahead and use.
because what are you at hit points wise? Because you take
16.
Yeah, you better take care of him.
I'm standing in a healing spirit that'll heal me for 1d6 every time I stop my round.
And I could heal you for 3d4 just as a bonus action while still being able to spot repair your machine. Well, 3d4 plus a bunch.
Well, if I use like three tech points, I use three tech points at once.
3d8 plus your intellect modifier, which is more than he rolls for damage. So
Yeah, right. Well, I mean, but okay.
Or
so
you could
what-
stick a can of gas, a can of like a flamethrower out
Well,
the hole.
is it 1d8 plus the modifier? So it's be three times that.
no, it's
three dice.
It's
but then
yeah,
the
one intellect
modifier
modifier
once.
per action,
Okay, all right, got it.
but
All right,
more
all right,
dice.
All right.
It's just
So
like
we
the
got-
cure wound spell.
Okay, 8 and 5 and 4, 17 plus 4 is
21. So your
Okay,
your
so-
suit is back at 21.
Back to 21. Okay.
Like I say, that's more dice than they
Yeah.
roll to deal damage with.
Okay. So the suit's back to 21. Okay.
Well, bigger dice than they roll to deal damage with, technically.
Anyways,
all right. Good enough.
And then you start your bonus action if you want to do something else.
But I can do a bonus action of
Of whatever you can do a bonus action with. I don't know what you can do.
cantrip.
If you have a specific cantrip.
What?
If you have a
do roll
specific.
concentration.
Yeah,
check,
I've
so
got like firebolt.
Firebolt is an action.
That's an
No,
action.
Yeah, it's an action.
Oh, okay.
Oh no, yeah. So when you use your action to cast a cantrip, you can to activate a device as a bonus action. It's
Oh,
backwards.
right. So it's
Yeah,
back. Yeah,
slightly
it's
backwards.
different. Okay, so yeah, I get it. Yeah. I don't think I can do anything then at this point for that.
Alright.
Alright. So
Me's turn.
then yeah, it'll be Shiana
Shiana again.
because Garrett can.
Oh, that's right. We are at the same time. I'm so
Yeah.
used to you going last.
Uh huh.
Are all of them still standing?
Yeah.
No, it's weird.
You're flanking one with me, so you get
Yes.
advantage of attacking you.
Yes, which will let you get sneak attack.
What advantage? Oh, I get sneak
Yeah,
attack.
as long as you have an ally in melee or you have advantage on the attack roll, you get sneak attack.
Okay.
As long as you don't have disadvantage.
Do you have advantage between your roll twice
Oh,
or
I have
higher?
advantage
Roll
also.
twice or higher.
Let's see.
Are you dying over there?
Does a 15 hit?
15 hits exactly.
Clearing my throat.
Their AC is only middling.
So you
Okay.
get your D6 and you also get your sneak attacks,
Yes.
which is how many?
I think it's 5. I don't have it written down.
You're level 8. You're a level 8 rogue.
Because the Fang of Shargos from Volo's guide hits hard, but is not actually the most durable thing in the world.
Let's see. Boom.
18.
How many d6s did you roll?
5.
5? That seems like it's accurate, and it's not.
Hang
I
on.
mean, I also
I'm
rolled
looking.
like a 1 and a 2.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, it's 4d6 sneak attack, so yeah.
Yeah.
So you
Did that
5
add your
D6
agility to it?
Total.
Did you add your agility modifier?
Yes, I did.
Okay, I'm just making sure, because it seemed like a really low number.
I did not roll the best on those. I rolled like a 1, 2, a 3, a 5, and something else that was low. I think.
Is that the one that I've been beating on? So
Yeah. So that was 18, and I'd taken 40, so it's now it's 58. Let me check its hit points. It's dead.
Yay.
I hope it's dead.
Yeah.
Killed one.
As you dig the claws into its chest as it's getting battered from both sides, it drops it.
70 to 80 hit points. We're all dead.
All right. So now it's unless you want to move. You want to move to flank the guy that's behind
Yes. Yeah. Let's do that.
you? Move and flank the guy that's behind me, please.
Yeah, flanking
Yep.
is good.
Garrick and Leaf.
All right. I'm going to use one action. First, I'm going to heal a D6.
As you move, the third guy that's in the middle of your fight swipes at you, but he misses.
Okay.
I heal 5. Yay. Plus.
Well, she
5.
can disengage as a bonus action.
I mean, it doesn't matter. I'm going to wring out one of those chain hooks, and I'm going to fling it at the guy that's on Josh.
Okay.
Does a 21 hit?
Yes.
All right, and I'm going to use my reaction to try to yank him towards me.
All right, roll me athletics check. You probably beat him.
18 plus 6.
Yeah, you beat him.
So, does he get an attack of opportunity? No, because I'm moving.
You're moving
I'm
him.
moving. So yank him over towards me.
He lands right next to you.
Drop that, put my other hand back on the full blade, and I'm just going to swing around at the guy behind me, and with my second attack, hit the one that I'm flanking with Shiona with.
By the way, I have 25 hit points.
Yay!
How are you doing hit points wise?
I'm
21 to hit.
I'm okay so far.
Are you doing hit points
I'm
wise?
starting to hurt a little.
I'm at 46
Alright.
of 76.
In that case, let's go ahead and do some more.
Would you use cure wounds on him and
That was
healing?
3rd level cure wounds, and now
So you had to move over to me to do that.
Yeah, because cure wounds is touch.
okay.
So you walked over to him. Yeah, it's not a long distance. You're like 20 feet separately from each of you.
How many hit points are you down now?
I'm at 46 of 76, so I'm short 30.
How far are you down?
24:57.
I'll just use 1 healing word just on you. So
20 points of damage to the guy between me and her.
4.
Okay. Ow.
And bonus action, I'm going to move the healing spirit over onto Shiana.
Oh yeah, at the start of your
11
turn,
points back.
you
Okay.
healing.
Yeah, I healed up.
So
At
that
the
was
start
a
of, at the
second
start
level
of,
healing word and a 3rd level cure wounds.
cool. At the start of your turn, you're going to heal another d6 because I put the healing spirit on you.
The disturbing thing about these cultists that are fighting you is they fight and die in complete silence.
There's a little cloud serpent. There's an ethereal cloud serpent sitting on your head right now.
Okay. I will accept it.
Right? As they're swinging blades and taking hits and bleeding out and dying, not a sound escapes any of them.
Yep. Creepy.
Terrifying.
Which is
Very convenient because we're trying to be stealthy.
I mean,
is-
yes.
which is especially unnatural for orcs, which are creatures of emotion and bloodlust and
Yeah,
anger.
I'm over here grunting like,
It's like trying to keep your jaw
Yeah.
shut so you don't shout.
yeah. Just... Garrick, yeah, Garrick's stealth is.
You're just, as long as you're quieter than the crunching sound that your blade makes.
and the side of the chain that I just threw. Oh, the guy that I hit, by the way, with the chain takes damage.
Yeah.
He took 10 points of damage.
Yep. Ow. It's just, you try to be stealthy with the chain throw, but for some reason there's just this voice in the background that just goes, "Get over here!" and it wasn't you.
It wasn't me.
Thankfully, no one can actually hear from a distance of beyond 20 feet. For some strange reason.
And then there's another voice that goes, "I'm a one-man apocalypse." Roadhog approves.
So that, yes, so you, then the fangs are up, and all of them are over at your fight now.
They are. I pulled them all over me.
You're where the party's at.
So there's 3 of them that are going to try and make 2 attacks each. 2 are going to go on you, 3 on you, 3 on you. One of them's going to split their attacks.
Can the one that I pulled over get to her? Because he's on the other side of me from her.
Shift.
Yeah.
Without provoking attack opportunity.
That works.
Throw yourself upon me.
That's 11 to hit you for the first one,
Miss.
11 to hit you for the second one,
Miss.
13 for the first one. None of those were above 10. That was a 6, a 6, and an 8.
Just as good.
And then this one's going on you.
Doesn't that
That's a
have
natural
fear?
20.
Dang it!
Doesn't that have fear then?
Oh yes, this one does have fear, so a disadvantage. Wait. That's a 17.
Still
It
had.
was not
That's
natural
not
20,
correct.
though.
It's not a crit.
That's not crit,
Yeah.
which is
At
really
least
irrelevant.
it's not correct.
Remember that you have relentless endurance if you go down.
It is very handy.
Also, do you have uncanny dodge?
It's why I'm kind of okay
You
with
do,
being
yes.
at 8
You
hit
can use
points
your
right now.
reaction to take half damage.
Yeah, you should be doing that.
At least once around. 5, 10, 13. That's
Okay.
16 slashing damage
Would
to
you
you.
like to use your reaction to take half damage?
I would absolutely love
You
to do
take
that.
8 instead of 16.
Yes.
And the third attack is actually no second one that has disadvantage. That's a 7. And then the third one, that's a 9.
All right.
So that's their turn. Josh.
There's no longer a guy on you. I pulled him to me.
I go chase him and hit him with a Thorian mace. Because
If you want
I
one of
want
these
to.
chains to hook into your suit, ask. I've got 2.
Ooh, that's a hit. 18, 16, 12, 14, 24.
Yeah, you hit him.
The idea is that I can use both of them.
And I
Just
do
in addition
that.
to using them to climb.
And it's not much damage,
Grab one.
but it's
Grab one mage, yank him over here. Grab another mage, yank him over here.
When you start working.
But in an hour.
I mean,
Okay.
when you were saying
Okay.
2 and you should attach one of the steam suit, what I was thinking when you said that was like
7
Get
points
one.
damage.
to
Did you add the
a
strength
really
of the
big
suit?
magnet on the
Yeah.
handle.
Oh,
so you can
yes.
Okay.
hook them
Just making sure.
both.
I didn't roll
With-
real high.
Oh, okay. I was
Hook
about
one
to say.
person with 2 chains. Take the chain, throw it
I'm
over
assuming the one that
swimsuit,
got
it
pulled away from you?
magnetically latches, and then you just walk away from each other.
All right, Shiana,
I am flanking
go for it. Attack with advantage.
with
I
advantage.
should do that.
Like advantage.
William,
Okay.
question. If I hooked one target with
Okay.
both hooks, could I slam them?
You certainly try.
24.
24. That hits. Yes. And then roll
I'm
your
now
damage with sneak attack.
picturing like hooking a mage and flinging them off the cliff.
Oops, that
That'll work.
You
As a fly
go away!
That's a lot better. Okay. 21.
Yeah.
So I want to get them
Nice.
enchanted so I can do all sorts of cool stuff with them.
Ow. Garrick and Leaf.
By the way, you healed a d6. The spirit's on you. So roll a d6 and add to your health. There's a dude in front of me. He's assumed.
He's also very hurt.
Yeah.
He's about to be very dead.
Full blade at the one I'm blanking. That's an 18 plus 7. That hits.
You deal more than 11 damage.
I can not, so let's find out. Four, 5 plus 4 is 9. So yes, I did less than 11 damage.
He's not dead yet. He can dance and he can sing.
Yeah, I'm not at the point where I automatically add another d8 of radiant damage yet.
Yeah.
I mean,
19.
You deal more than 2 damage.
Yes.
He's dead. Yeah, 52 maximum hit points.
And bonus action. I'm going to move the healing. I'm going to move the healing spirit so that it's not on anybody, and then I'm going to spend the rest of my movement walking through it 3 times.
Well, you only have it once per round.
Is it only once per
Yeah,
round?
you can only take the effect
As I
once
want.
per round.
Sorry, I'm going to move through it and then move back out.
Yeah.
So I heal a d6, and it's open so anyone else can move through it to heal a d6. Any other ally, it doesn't affect enemies.
And what do you got to, Leaf?
because
So if you want to run through that spirit, you'll heal.
yeah,
a
so
D6.
you're at pretty good hit points.
Yeah,
I'm at
You're-
51.
What?
I'm at 51.
Okay, you're at decent hit points.
I'm okay. I'll
Okay.
be fine.
There are 2 guys left. One of them is not quite halfway dead.
There's a little ethereal cloud serpent hovering in one spot.
All right, 2 guys left. I'm going to go ahead and move that little thing to get me some hit points because 3 hit points sound like a deal.
Walk through it.
That's 6 hit points.
There you
nice.
go.
And one of them is the one that is frightened.
And I'm going to go ahead and also heal myself a little because this kind of hurts right now. For all it did, but yeah, that's decent. Wrong. Plus 3, yeah. Cool.
Awesome.
And then
Before I leave, can I use your printer?
Yeah.
I gotta print out a thing for my bank.
I'm
And our printers.
no, I can't cast Shield of Faith because that would remove the fear from that one guy, and that's significantly more useful as an effect.
Yeah, don't worry about it. They've been missing
Yeah.
me. Now that when they're not flanking me and I'm not surprised, they have been missing me more.
Yeah. I'm not going to burn any more spell slots than I need to.
Except for that first round where that dude just kept hitting me.
Right,
But he's
cool.
dead, so
Yeah.
I just killed him.
He stopped breathing. We
So-
can't figure out why.
Now it's the Fang's turn.
So, Fang.
Did you leave the healing spirit so someone else can add to it?
Yes. Yes.
There's only 2 left. One of them has disadvantage, so he's going to try and make 2 attacks against Gianna with disadvantage.
When you
Well,
pulled
that's
that
a
one
9.
over, did he fall over, or is you just pulled him?
He
towards
pulled
you?
him to me.
Oh, so he's not prone.
Yeah.
He didn't go prone, right?
That's what I was asking if I could maybe slam
Yeah.
them prone with if I
Yeah.
used both.
That's a 15, which I believe misses you.
Misses.
Yeah.
But no, it's like it is the abomination's hook. It's just
And then the one on you with regular attacks, that's a 7. Hey, that's a 23.
that hits.
5, 10, 11, 14 slashing damage.
Oh.
And that's the 2 fangs.
Josh, your turn.
Josh, you're up.
I'm gonna run toward the camp and see what those other guys are doing and try to, because I mean, or just look over there to see. Are they trying to signal their guy or anything?
It doesn't look like any of them have
noticed
quite
us
noticed yet. Yeah, because you're a sufficient distance away.
Oh. Hmm.
Johnny Tall's like, what's going on? Figured they'd be here right now.
It's probably best to just take these guys out as fast as we can.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and
If
try
you fire off a gunshot, they might hear you.
Yeah,
but-
that's why I didn't do that yet.
I need a thorium full blade.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and smack them.
What does thorium do to weapons?
In 3.5, it made them
Harder.
it increased the strength step.
Yeah.
In 5th edition, I haven't decided yet.
We'll find out when we find some thorium.
Doesn't he have
I've
a
got a
thorium?
mace. Yeah, I got a mace of thorium. Well, that doesn't hit anything. I was looking too hard at the other thing and didn't hit this guy.
Right. Did you run through the healing spirit perhaps?
It's only taking 4
No,
points of
because
damage.
I was looking around.
That could heal all 4 points.
Yeah.
The what?
It heals you. It heals you 1d6, which would top you off, and it's free.
Yeah. I guess I can move that direction. Didn't go.
Roll a d6.
Yeah, okay,
walk there
I'll do
and
that.
walk
I'll
back.
walk. Yeah, walk through it. Oh, there we go.
There.
Rolling sixes. That's
Boom.
pretty cool.
Nice. This is a good healing spirit.
So that gets me up to 40.
Yeah, no,
43.
like
so I'm
a free
that's almost
d6.
full.
A free d6 on your turn is
Yeah.
never not worth it.
It's a 3d6 on your turn.
That can technically depend.
Never not worth it.
Unless you're taking an attack.
Unless you're taking entire opportunity to get it, but if you can get it without taking entire opportunity,
Shiana.
Okay.
run through that healing spirit, then flank.
Sure. Let's do it.
So get a d6 of healing,
Okay. And
and then flank with me. Get advantage.
I like the idea that it's just inside the guy's reach, so you don't have to leave his reach to go get it. So you're just circling around
Yeah,
him and dance.
same number twice. 27 to hit.
I mean, I was thinking something
Yeah,
along
that
the
is.
lines of like it's on the very center of it, so we're all just kind of giving it a high five occasionally.
Yeah, you run past high five the healing spirit, get a d6.
Roll a sneak attack.
So
Okay.
5d6 plus. Hello. You're on screen.
26.
26 damage.
Yes.
We're almost done.
That will be. Yep, that's a lot. He's not dead yet, but he's not feeling good.
Katie, can you hear me?
So we
Yep.
dash
Okay,
range.
yeah, we're almost done.
Hi, Katie.
Oh, this is hi. Case is hi. Bye.
Oh.
Hey, love you.
Garrick and Leaf.
I'm gonna step over and high five the healing spirit. 2. He doesn't like me as much.
I'll do it as well. 3 likes me slightly more.
And then flank and smash. Call it the flank and smash. I rolled a 9 and a 9 on both times. 9 plus 7 is
16, you hit.
7 plus 2 is 9, plus 4 is 13.
13, okay.
And then another hit. Good thing I've got advantage. That's 12 plus 7, so that hits.
Yep.
Uh, 6 plus 5 is 11, plus 4
He dead.
is 15. So the last one?
That was one more.
So, one more down.
How's the last one looking? Right now?
He's the frightened one who has not been attacked yet.
He's not been attacked yet. Oh, in that case,
Change it.
Everybody stab.
Circle around. Everyone circle up.
try to remember if
We'll make a circle
might
and go
feel
through the
does
healing
might feel
spirits.
D8 or D10.
Just have
This
the
might
humans
is
come cover us.
might flame, which is
I should ring around the
Because
dead
I know it
guy.
feels less than
it's
all the
D8s.
dead can. Okay,
Yeah, it's
D8s.
D8s.
That's not as catchy though.
So,
And you are at above 5th level, so it's 2D8.
is that a reflex save?
It's a deck
That's
save
save.
or agility save.
What are you casting?
Wait, no. That's right. Toll the Dead also does D8, even if.
Toll
they
the
haven't
Dead
taken
also
damage.
makes noise, for what it's worth.
Oh.
Doesn't it only
yeah.
sound to the person you're attacking, or does it sound to everyone?
Toll the Dead. Beyond. Tell me what I'm looking for.
You point at one creature you see within range, and the sound of a dolorous bell fills the air around it for a moment. Sorry, I must succeed on wisdom saving throw. Sorry, yeah, no, it makes the sound.
Well, the question is, does it
I
carry?
would say it's very localized. It would probably only be audible to things in the immediate vicinity.
Okay.
Like that, get over here.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and cast that on that guy because
Dolorous?
that's a spirit saving throw, and they're probably worse at that.
Dolorous?
Go ahead.
I think it's Dolores.
It's Dolores.
Spell.
It's Dolorous.
It's Dolores.
Dolores.
The emphasis
So,
is
yeah.
Dol.
DC 14 spirit save.
Dolorous.
Spirit save.
That's. I mean, you could have. What I'm saying is they could have used a better word.
That's
for
a 7.
description.
Cool.
And he's not injured, but so it'll be 2d8.
Yeah, 2d8, not 2d12.
Dolores is exactly the word.
That is
The
9
doling
damage.
of the bell.
9 damage, and my sanctuary
The
fades.
sound of a
But
dolorous
that
bell.
doesn't matter because he has disadvantage anyway, and he can't come closer.
Yep.
The sound of a tolling bell.
No. Dolorous means sorrowful.
Doleful.
Why not then
you could
the
have
sound
said,
of a
like,
sorrowful bell?
Yeah. Or
Dolorous
You
has
just gotta have
better context.
I'm just saying.
Anyway.
Could have used a better word.
Dolorous is
so
the
he
perfect
goes.
The
word.
Fang, he's gonna fight till he dies. He's a fanatic. That's a 4, which is gonna
That's
miss,
cool. We didn't intend to leave him alive anyway.
and that's an 8, which misses.
Too bad, now it's my shot.
Yep. Now it's your shot.
Firebolt.
Hey,
Ooh, I actually hit something.
2d10.
22. Yeah, 2d10. That's these two. Hit that puppy. 9 and 3.
12. Not bad.
Do I have plus on that? I forgot. No,
I don't think so.
no, that's it. 12. Okay.
All right. Brings it back to Shiana.
All right.
I'm assuming you want to flank him.
Oh yes.
You want to step to the healing spirit too?
Sure. 5. It likes me. But I get advantage.
Yes,
Right?
you have a
I miss either way.
2 and then a 3.
Yep. That'd be a 12.
Unfortunate. You just barely miss. Bless might have made the difference there, but I don't know. Garrick and Leaf.
That's a miss.
Wow, is this guy going to live another round?
Nope. That's a 19. That's a 19 plus 7.
Also, go ahead and make him a spirit saving throw again. That's cantrip, yeah.
15 damage to him.
That's an 11.
Cool. This is 2d12 now.
Yep.
Like it matters because he takes 3 damage from 2d12.
That's disgusting.
15 damage from me.
I'd make a terrible barbarian.
He lives to see the round come back around to him.
Really?
Gonna try and
Run away.
nope. Misses.
We all get a tag him up
Misses twice.
No, you just have to.
Josh.
This is just a whole bunch of missing and a whole bunch of nothing. happening.
Okay,
I haven't
firebolt
been
again.
helping here.
Because that actually works. Okay, yeah, it hits. 18 plus 7.
Yeah, 2d10.
Yeah, 2d. These two. Come on, go up.
14.
That's a
14, yeah.
14's good.
Go on.
He's dead. How do you want to do this?
You guys keep with miscellaneous junk.
Just like grab him
Okay,
by the face.
So Leaf hits him with whatever that thing was, and
Well, I
he
don't
says,
physically hit him with
"What?" He
something.
just looks at him and, "Was that a hit?" And I smack him in the back of the head with a firebolt.
It's like that. You just grab him by the face and incinerate him.
Yeah, so the sound of the bell tolls again, and the frailty of the blow sort of makes the assassin turn to face Leaf, and you see him overcome the fear as he is just sort of struck with the weakness of that strike, and
He's so thoroughly underwhelmed.
He's so thoroughly underwhelmed that the fear ends as he sort of looks at you and just kind of tilts his head to the side with his question of bewilderment, and then just off camera, the firebolt strikes straight into the face, and his head just goes up in a fireball, and he just collapses to the ground.
So, before we end the session, we can all run through the healing spirit 6 more times. So everyone heals 66 if you need it.
Go
Yeah, I
ahead.
have 66 out.
I only need. Oh, one? Okay, got it.
Use all of
I'm
these.
full.
And with that,
Okay, now that's a roll.
There you go.
that's a
Little
fireball
better. That's a
damage.
little better.
And with that, we will see you all next time. Say goodbye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Farewell.